Girls Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health. Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
New owners means new lunch specials at the Fox Bar and Grill. They've just introduced tons of options on their new under $10 lunch menu. Small nachos grande, a classic cheeseburger, 4 boneless or traditional wings and fries, or a small single topping pizza for just $5 each. Try the mushroom Swiss burger or the pepper jack stack burger for just $6. And for just $7, try any of the classic steak Philly, club wrap, grilled chicken salad, or grilled southwestern salad. It's the under $10 lunch menu at the Fox Bar and Grill, just south of 14th and Pine Lake.
Hey guys, looking for that extra confidence when it's time to have fun? Let me tell you about BlueChew.com. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. BlueChew tablets help men combat all forms of ED. BlueChew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA, and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy. And here's a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code TICKET at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code TICKET, to receive your first month free.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in on a Wednesday. Tom and Bock. By the way, how do you spell it, Bock? Do you know how to spell it?
What am I spelling?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
DP always good. W-I-N. W-I-N's day.
Win for the win.
Win for the win. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. I can't complain. We're halfway home. There's another Husker game around the corner.
That's right. I will not be here Friday, by the way. I'm leaving town to do some stuff. You'll be taking over, and I think Nick will be here for Friday. So maybe I'll give you my prediction either today or tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you got to get your picks in. Maybe we'll do all the Friday stuff on Thursday.
I haven't decided. I haven't decided which way I'm going on this one. Nebraska. I think Nebraska will win, but they are at last check a 12-point favorite.
Yeah,
I think it's down to 12 as
That's a
of
lot
yesterday.
To me. That seems like a lot.
That seems like a lot for this team. So I haven't decided which way I'm going on this. But I don't know if you saw it last night. BTN featured Nebraska. Of course, Saturday is the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, and BTN aired the special on how Nebraska football handled it. Of course, all football games were canceled, and Nebraska moved their game to a Thursday night. I believe it was the first sporting event of any kind, and it was not televised nationally. My wife was there. She was the head of marketing, and let's bring her in. Heidi Kuka. Hello, Heidi. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well.
Get right into that mic.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
stretch it out a little bit.
Of course, and we're going to bring in Tom Nesbitt here momentarily. There you go. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
All right. Tom Nesbitt, Colonel Tom Nesbitt, was a part of the broadcast last night. You were on BTN as well. Tom was on. Mitch Sherman was part of that broadcast, who I believe was he an intern of yours, or was Shannon, his wife, an intern of yours?
Shannon worked for Sports Information, and Mitch worked for the Omaha World Herald.
Right. Okay. Yes. And you were in marketing at that point because you'd started at Husker Vision, right? Yeah.
I was the
You were-
first marketing director, and then I had worked my way up to assistant
Right.
athletic director for marketing at
Right.
the time.
Assistant athletic director. She's got to have assistant athletic director for marketing.
You're going to be quizzed on this
Yeah,
later,
yeah,
Tom.
That's right.
You're gonna
I knew.
remember this.
I just said marketing director
Yeah.
back in the day. But this thing, obviously, they've used the tunnel walk, and Rick Swigert, who's now a big time voice guy for NASCAR, I believe, the Truck Series, was the PA guy. He came up with the idea for honoring first responders via the tunnel walk. Walk us through what happened on that.
Absolutely. Well, as all of us, we were just in shock that day. And as I traveled to work and everybody was listening to the radio and what was going on, and we all sat together. And in fact, our athletic director, Bill Byrne, at the time was actually in Philadelphia. So it took a while to get him back. And so, but we immediately started to plan and try to figure out how can we honor this situation. We play our games in Memorial Stadium, which was built and dedicated to those Nebraskans that had lost their lives fighting in the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, and then, of course, World War I, because it was completed in 1923.
Yeah.
So it was appropriate that we do that. But it was Rick was the PA, and we all worked with Husker Vision quite a bit. And so I was in charge of the script. And when we came together, and Butch Hug, too, was a very important piece of that we honor the first responders that were here in Nebraska. And so we did that, and a lot of pieces had to come together. But and then our marketing staff, our piece of it was, and you can see, but we put together
She's holding it up
I'm
for
holding
the
it
cameras
up.
there.
We put together a card section that said USA, and a shout out to all my interns, including, Barry Swanson. You talk about Barry Swanson tailgate.
He existed for a long period of time.
So he rounded up all the interns. We literally taped all of these different colored pieces of paper, red, white, and blue for that day to spell out USA.
And you had to coordinate a little bit of this with the fans, right?
We printed the instructions on the back, but we had done one for the 200 consecutive sellouts. So we already had the manifest built in terms of using these three sections as a card section.
Right.
But this is a way to honor America and do that. So, so that was a big piece of it. And then even one of my grad assistants at the time was Jason Rathy, who's now my boss.
Oh.
So, be good to the interns, right?
Cool.
Be good to the interns. But he told me too that this morning when we were talking about it, there was just that fear almost of being in the stadium because no one knew what was going to happen next.
It was the very first, not just football game. It was the very first sporting event, I believe. After 9/11, it was on a Thursday night, and they were a little bit worried that fans would show up. I mean, a lot of people had planned on being there the previous Saturday, and now you're moving it to a Thursday night with very little notice, and it was jam packed.
Well, and of course, I was telling Bock we had just beaten Notre Dame, and so our on-conference schedule was fantastic. And they're like, okay, now it's Rice, maybe we can. It's after the coming down from a Notre Dame game and a win there
on the road.
And so no, it was actually at home.
Oh, was that on the road?
Home. Yes,
2001. Okay, the year before it was Eric Crouch.
So and so and Eric was doing well, Heisman Trophy candidate. So we're looking forward to a great season, and then this happens, and so what do you do? How do you get how do we pull together? How do we do the usual thing as Nebraskans do? Work hard, honor those that have done all the hard work. And so I know this Saturday too, there will be a salute and reverence for those people that have served to keep our country safe.
Rico, if you can hear me in the other studio, if you can call Colonel Tom Nesbitt real quick on the other line. He was a part of this broadcast as well. And he and Terry Wagner were among those that were honoring first responders. How'd that all come about?
Well, again, it takes a lot of people to put on a Nebraska football game. If you think about it, it is the third largest city in our state. And so just coordinating all the efforts of the people. So Butch Hug, who was our events coordinator, associate AD for athletics at the time, was in charge of that. And of course, we had great working relationships with all the police and the state patrol because you have 75,000 people at the time coming towards the stadium. So great relationships with those people and keeping our people safe. And so once Rick came up with the idea that we do that, then Butch said, absolutely. We all agreed that this was the perfect idea to do this, because there was also a reverence to the tunnel walk. You weren't going to touch the tunnel walk.
No,
right?
And they did change it a little bit.
And they did. And so we put the flag. At the time we had the Kearney Arch, and we put the United We Stand on that. And then we had the flag on, it was the animated flyover. So when you got to Omaha and the Henry Doorly Zoo, they had the American flag at half mast there. So that would symbolize symbolize that. And so those were some of the other changes. We also worked really hard. People came out of the woodwork to say, what can we do? How can we help? And in fact, it was a friend of Frank Solich's and coach called down and said, hey, this guy wants to help. Can you find something for him? And so we handed out United We Stand bumper stickers. That was actually in the special last night. You could see those, but we wanted to get them in America, and we had to get them fast. So this guy said, I've got a van. What can I do? And so we sent him down to Kansas City, and he picked up 70,000 of these United We Stand. And then the Red Cross came and they helped hand those out when people gave a donation to the Red Cross.
Well, it was so well done last night, and Nebraska's part in, I think what it showed to me is how sports heals. I mean, you're coming off the worst tragedy that we can remember in our lifetimes, and maybe the worst tragedy ever. Let's bring in Colonel Tom Nesbitt, former colonel. You'll always be a colonel to me. Tom, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Good.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
Explain your part in all of this. They asked you to represent the first responders. You're a colonel, and you were at the State Patrol at that particular time. How did it all come about for you?
Well, the university had called down and talking to my people and saying, hey, we want to recognize public safety, first responders at the upcoming game. And my goodness, this was just like 9 days, if I remember correctly, after the attack that we had on 9/11. And I'm going to be honest, I mean, that was the farthest thing from my mind, dealing with everything we were dealing with on the state-wide basis and infrastructure and ensuring it's protected and not really knowing what could happen or what would happen. And when you have 93 counties in the state of Nebraska and you're a statewide law enforcement agency, there's a tremendous amount of work involved with that. So, they came in and said, hey, and this is what they want. And I said, well, find somebody, to do it. And they said, no, they want you to do it. And I said, look, I got this going on and this and then we talked, and the more I thought about it, I thought, don't be so selfish, Tom. This is for total public safety and to recognize public safety overall, not only in Nebraska, but I mean, this is countrywide across America. And in response to the 9/11 response there in New York, the Twin Towers and the Pentagon, and it goes on and on and on, and how important this was. And so that's what started the process. And then going down there and talking to them and seeing what they want. And they just did a fantastic job in organizing this and the recognition. And then, good Lord, the game came up, and from then it was just an unbelievable feeling. I mean, to think about, as I said, 9 days after the attack and being recognized, and as I said, I've watched that tunnel walk 100 times and the music, and man, I got excited every time, just the players coming out, let alone being part of it, and hearing the crowd cheer as you're getting closer to the end of the tunnel, and knowing this is in recognition of public safety and first responders, and then coming out of that tunnel into the field. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was very emotional. And I remember looking over to the right, and I saw this older lady sitting there, and she had a little flag in her hand. She was waving it, and I looked at her, and I could actually see her lips, And she said, "We love you and thank you." And I'll tell you what, that's when it really hit home.
Wow.
And at that point, and it was just a very emotional thing, and I'm very honored and humbled to be part of that. It's something I'll never forget the rest of my life.
How emotional were you expecting to be at the time when you were being asked? Because Terry Wagner said that he thought it would be another normal day in his life. And yet it turned out to be so much more, because you don't know exactly how people will react, do you?
No, you don't. And I'm going to be honest with you, being in law enforcement for over 30 years and the things that I went through and been through, I just thought, well, just another day. And how wrong I was. And going to work that day and putting on my blouse and which is our dress blues for the patrol, and my wife telling me, this is a significant day. And I said, it's just another day, working here and doing the right thing. And she said, no, she says, this is different, Tom. Yeah, this is going to be different for you.
Yeah.
And away I went, and you know what? As always, she was right.
Yeah.
Grounded me.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. It really was.
It was incredible. Do you remember? Obviously, you do. Head of the State Patrol, Colonel Tom Nesbitt is our guest. Do you remember Nebraska's role in 9/11 and the men and women that went to New York City?
Yeah, I remember those that went there and helping out, and I talked to some of them after they returned from there, and the stories I heard were, you saw the video and the news media and stuff, and then talking to them and hearing the stories of what went on there and the families involved and the loss of life, and it was just. It was just unbelievable. It was overwhelming is what it was, because you think about this. You think about them digging a fire truck out of the ruins there. I remember that specifically of some fire guys telling me that. And then an officer telling me about an officer that lost his life in the line of duty, and that officer had met his children that were there. And
wow.
And thinking about that, and then President Bush showing up there at that time and kind of giving a rally talk about, make sure this never happens again, and etc. Yeah, it was very significant, obviously, in people's lives.
Obviously, Nebraska took a lead on this. This is the very first sporting event. You mentioned 9 days after the attack, and it was pulled off so beautifully. And we always hear how sports heals. Did you feel that day?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You could feel that in the stadium, and looking at people. And as I mentioned, the older lady, and then as I looked in the crowd that I could see, and seeing the tears. I mean, people wiping tears, and it was very emotional. And as you could tell, my voice is even kind of crackling here, because to this day, when I talk about this, and I was talking to my daughter, who just become a law enforcement officer, about it, and I remember as I was talking to her, the tears streaming down my cheeks, and telling her about it. So, yeah, it was a healing thing. You could tell how appreciative the fans of our great Husker Nation were, and that day cheering on our first responders is just a very significant event, very much so. And I can't thank the university enough for what they did in doing that. And being the first one, like I said, 9 days afterwards, that didn't happen anywhere else in the country that I know of anyway. And with that many people in the stands, it's just, yes. And then you factor in the big screens, that's in the stadium there, and you see the first responders on that, and everybody, cheering and stuff. It was a significant event.
Yeah.
Tom, it's Heidi. I'm curious, how did things change for you professionally from a public safety capacity moving forward?
Well, yeah, I remember, everyone remembers where they were when that happened in 9/11. I was at South Dakota at a conference, and 4 colonels across the Midwest part of the country, and got that call and from my staff and what was going on, to turn on the TV, and then the governor calling me, Governor Johans, and saying, "Hey, you need to get back here." And there was no air traffic whatsoever, because I shut that all down, if you remember. And so I think we drove 6 or 7 hours to get back here as quick as we could, and started meeting them immediately and putting contingency plans in place, because no one knew if they were, they could have been in Nebraska. I mean, we just didn't know those things, because it was all new and dealing with this, and then identifying all the major infrastructure, dams, the nuclear plants, and the grids of the electricity, of trying to figure these things out and how we were going to make sure we protected those, and dealing with 93 counties, and having the sheriffs and the chiefs call in and saying, "Hey, we need you to lead this. You're the statewide agency, and please start," and putting contingency plans together. And it was overwhelming. I mean, I'll tell you what, it was obviously the most significant thing I'd been through my whole career. And being the colonel at that time and having that responsibility, it was overwhelming at times, and lots of work. But you know what? Worth every minute of it. We did a good job in ensuring contingency plans as well as infrastructure, and making sure we're communicating with the public on a regular basis to assure them that we were on top of this as much as we can. So it did, Heidi, change my life significantly at that point.
Colonel Tom Nesbitt, I'd just like to say thank you. And if you haven't seen the BTN special on 9/11, it's aired last night, but they'll show it many, many more times. So DVR it, whatever you could do. I mean, obviously, my wife Heidi was a prominent part of that. She was the marketing director for Nebraska at the time, and Colonel Tom Nesbitt, head of the State Patrol. Thanks, Tom. We really appreciate it. Great stuff.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Yep. Thank you.
There you go. Tom Nesbitt, what a guy. And I don't know, did you remember, you probably weren't at that game, Bock.
I wasn't at that game. I was 11 years old, so it's kind of weird, going through all this as a kid in an adult's world. The adults were handling everything, obviously at the time, but still, I mean, I just can't even imagine the amount of tears that people were going through, had that day, and man, it's just, even thinking about it now, it's crazy.
I remember being in the stands watching it. It was not a televised game, as Tom mentioned, 9 days after 9/11, and put together rather quickly on a Thursday night, but it was packed. It was emotional. It was fantastic. And I mean, it was one of those things where you're thinking, it felt surreal. You were there. It felt surreal, Heidi.
Yeah, absolutely. And after the tunnel, I mean, everybody there was this applause, but it was a reverence. It wasn't a cheering for the team. It was just, we have to pull together if we're going to move forward. And so I do remember my boss at the time coming up, and afterwards it just gave me a big hug. There was just big hugs and tears and high fives. And that's before the game even began. Yes, it was important, and hopefully move forward safely here.
Yep. Now. Garrett Wright, by the way, was the director of that special, and he went to the University of Nebraska, part of Husker Vision, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
yes. And now he's at BTN. Yes.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So thanks, Heidi. We'll see you at home.
Okay.
Appreciate all you do. Let's get to break and come back with Chris Bassnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. We'll do that next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus, as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smoothbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Tom and Bock. As we mentioned, 20th anniversary of 9/11. Bock was 11 years old at that time. Chris, you were about 12 or 13 at least at that point, right? How old were you?
What for what?
9/11.
9/11, 2001. I was in college.
Were you really?
I was 20. Let's see. I was 21 years old, about a month away from turning 22.
Wow. Did you go to that game, the Nebraska-Rice game?
I did. I sat in North Stadium with a few of my friends. I can still I remember it vividly. Obviously, the tunnel walk. Remember the teams walking out onto the field in silence. Remember the video. Remember the little tiny American flag. I can still see it popping up on the opposite end of the field, and just the emotions in the stadium. It was unbelievable. It's something that stuck with me my whole life.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you've had a chance to see the BTN special on it last night. What'd you think?
I thought it was really cool. I thought Heidi Kuka was a superstar. I don't know if you guys know who that is or not.
I met her once or twice. Yeah, she's
no, it was cool. I'm glad they were able to do that and give people an idea of what that looked like, because it really was, just speaking as someone who was there, it really was just really special and really emotional. I'm glad that it was able to be shown to a wider audience.
And obviously they got the alternate uniforms to honor 9/11 in the 20th year thing there. Do you know of anything else that they're going to be doing this Saturday?
Nothing specific. I'm sure, we'll see a military tribute of some type or a first responder tribute of some type. They do a pretty good job of keeping a lot of that stuff under wraps until it gets here. I'm interested to see what the tunnel walk looks like on Saturday. I wonder if they'll do a callback to the original one back in 2001. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool, but yeah, nothing specific that I know of right now.
Chris Bassnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star, our guest. I guess one thing that we found out from Saturday's game against Fordham is that we now officially have a depth chart. Are you surprised at all that it's Logan Smothers, the backup?
Maybe a little, but not totally. Logan's been here longer. He's been in the system longer. He's a little older. Even though he hasn't played football for a couple of years, he's still been in Lincoln longer than Henrik Harburg. So he probably has a better grasp of the offense, a better grasp of where the throws need to go, a better grasp of the reads. And that's not to say that Henrik Harburg couldn't surpass him into that number 2 spot later in the year, but it's not hard to see why Logan
Smothers is in that role just because of the time he's spent in the system.
What did you think about the depth chart release? It's kind of weird. I always like to try to go through the mind process of what's going on there. To hold it to keep it away for Illinois, I understood, and then to keep it away from Fordham, and then by maybe it's just week 3. It's like they probably figured it out.
Well, it's funny. They actually gave out a printed depth chart during right before the Fordham game. So we kind of had an idea of what it was going to look like before the Fordham game. And at that point, of course, the cat's out of the bag. So I don't know. I mean, who knows what college coaches are thinking about half the time with a lot of that stuff. If you look at the NFL, there's open practices and you get daily injury reports and everything else. So it's just kind of funny to me that the NFL of all places can have all this kind of information and access available. But if we're in the Big Ten, then we have to act like everything needs to be locked in Fort Knox. So yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. And I'm not going to try and decipher the mind of a college football coach when it comes to whether or not to release a depth chart.
Chris, is there anything maybe aside from the depth chart that you took from that game? Is that just you expected to blow them out? You did. Mission accomplished. But what else did they really achieve?
I don't know if they achieved a whole lot. Maybe building a little bit of confidence just with the way they played after, the first, quarter and a half. After they played, the way they played after the blocked field goal, certainly. You built a little confidence. You got everybody to feel good about themselves for a weekend, and that's certainly better than not feeling good about yourself going into this week. So, the biggest thing I took out of it was Ryan Greenhagen having 31 tackles for Fordham. That's just incredible. But as far as Nebraska's side of it, I don't know if there's a whole lot you take out of that as an observer.
I'm interested to see, there's so many different ways to look at this Buffalo game, but the way I'm looking at it is that there's an offense that scored a lot of points last year. They scored 69 in their opening game. How many points do you think that, Nebraska's defense is solid, but it's not great by any means. How many points do you think Nebraska is going to have to score to win this game?
I think it might be fewer than people might think. Buffalo's still got some weapons. Kyle Van Treese is a really good quarterback who's been there a while, but he's not afraid to throw it up for grabs and throw it into trouble and get a few passes picked off. They have a really, really good running back in Kyle Marks, and their running game is really solid. And I think that's where the interesting matchup is going to be. Can Nebraska's run defense kind of match Buffalo's rushing offense? And, Buffalo, I think, is kind of in a similar boat as Nebraska. They had a lopsided game against an overmatched opponent. Probably built some confidence and are feeling pretty good. And now you get a bigger test this week, of course. So I think if Nebraska scores 28, they probably win pretty comfortably, maybe even less than that. I don't think it's going to be a deal where Nebraska's going to have to go win a shootout.
Chris, I'm going to ask this every single week because it changes based on the opponent. But what do you want to see Saturday from Nebraska?
Build on what you did against Fordham. Nebraska was largely mistake-free the last 2.5 quarters against Fordham. Can you continue to push the ball down the field in the passing game like you did against Fordham and put pressure on Buffalo's secondary? Do you get another running back in rhythm like you did with Marquise Stepp getting 18 carries? You become the starter going forward now and become the guy that you can kind of lean on, to be that kind of feature back for you. So there's a few things there. And, let's be honest. Can you put away a MAC team? Buffalo's certainly a step up from Fordham. Buffalo's had some great seasons the last, several years under Lance Leipold. This is still a MAC team, and it's still a team that Nebraska should defeat easily. I know the spread's only 11 points or whatever it is right now, but this is a team Nebraska should, on the surface, be able to handle. So can you go out and handle Buffalo? And you're not going to put them away maybe as early as you did Fordham, but can you put them away in the second half and have another comfortable win? That's what I want to see.
What do you think is more likely to happen this weekend? A botched snap or a mistake in the punt return game?
Oh my God, that's like it's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right? I'll take mistake in the punt return game just because I think there's more variables there. And it may not matter who they put back there. Maybe Nebraska's just cursed back at punt return ever since Barney Pearsonell left there, and Keogh Craver isn't back there anymore. So, yeah, I don't know. It's you're one bounce of the ball away from having a turnover like we saw last week, or one split-second decision from throwing the ball out of your own end zone and getting a safety like we saw a couple weeks ago. So give me the punt return just because there's more variables, more ways to make a mistake there.
Kind of a negative Nelly, isn't Bock over there? I mean, it's like, yes, yeah. What do you expect more?
Anything else you want to talk? Hey, how many players are going to get hurt this weekend? You want to talk about that?
I thought it's an interesting question.
I'll go the other way with a more positive question. What do you expect? A clean game from Adrian Martinez or another 100-yard performance from Marquise Stepp?
A 100-yard performance from Marquise Stepp. I think that's your guy. I think Nebraska figured out that that's their guy going forward. I think he's more comfortable in the offense now that he's played in a couple games and has a better grasp of the playbook. I think Nebraska's going to be able to run the ball on Buffalo a little bit. So give me, again, quarterback. Adrian may throw an interception, and it may not be anything that even hurts Nebraska, but that's still a quarterback that is mistake prone until proven otherwise. So give me Marquise Stepp going over 100 yards.
What do you think about the backup situation there, running back? Like you said, you expect Stepp to take over. Do you think Gabe Ervin's still kind of in the mix there? I was surprised he only got 5 or 6 carries.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You wonder if Sevion Morrison has gained on him a little bit. We heard all camp how evenly matched that battle was between those 3 guys, Stepp, Gabe Ervin, and Marquise Stepp. So maybe this is just that playing out now in front of us on the field. So I think that's part of it. But yeah, I think there's still a role there for Gabe Ervin. They obviously like him a lot, or they wouldn't put him at starter the first 2 games. So there's something there they really like when they watch him. So yeah, he maybe won't have the biggest role, as big a role as he had the first game, certainly. But I think there's still a role there for Gabe Ervin going forward.
What stuck out to you about the Big Ten on opening weekend?
Just, I think it's a bear again. Obviously, Ohio State's in a different class. A Michigan State, I think, was probably the surprise of the league for a couple reasons. One, the way they just ran the ball down Northwestern's throat and the way they dominated that game. I think that's a game that we all knew was going to be important for Nebraska. And now all of a sudden you look at that and go, boy, that game, not only is it important, but it got a lot tougher than maybe we thought it would be before the season. Obviously, I thought Iowa looked incredible against Indiana. Indiana maybe a tad bit overrated coming into that game, but Iowa certainly looked really good. And we'll find out a lot more about Iowa this weekend when they play Iowa State. But I think it just showed you the depth of the league. Nobody expected Michigan State to do what they did. And if you looked hard enough, you could find some people that thought Iowa would start 0-2 this year, just with the way their schedule broke. So I think it just shows you and it's nothing new, but there's good coaches and there's good teams all over this league, and there aren't any weeks off. That's for sure.
Well, and it's interesting. I think Ohio State's like where everybody's kind of on the same page, that they're the clear front, and then there's kind of these different tiers that you go down there. But I was just really impressed by the back end of the Big Ten is going to be really good. If you're power ranking the Big Ten, I mean, we were kind of thinking about doing that today, and it looks like Nebraska's right there at the bottom or near the bottom. And I don't think they're normally obviously this is frustrating, the Illinois performance, but I don't think normally I would have Nebraska, at the bottom of the list given what they've shown so far. But it's just everybody impressed.
Yeah, it's a little bit like basketball, right? Like there's probably 1 or 2 favorites, and then the other 10, 11, 12 teams, you could probably put them in any order and it'd probably be fine. For the most part. So yeah, there's just depth, there's parity, and look, it's still very, very, very early. This stuff will sort itself out as the season goes along. But yeah, there's any number of teams you look at and go, hey, they could make a run, or hey, they maybe aren't as good as we thought they were. So yeah, I think it's just there's a lot of parity in the league, and it's going to make it really hard to kind of see where things stand, at least for a few more weeks.
Yeah, it feels like we're going to make big, bold proclamations every week, and then we'll be wrong the following week. It just feels like that's because there's a lot of balance. It's what you're talking about. It feels like there's a lot of teams that can beat a lot of other teams in this league.
Yeah, I mean, look at Illinois, right? They beat Nebraska, and all of a sudden you go, man, can Bielema get them to a bowl? Can he win 6 or 7 games his first year? And then they lose to UTSA and give up almost 600 yards offense. It's just going to be like that every single week, with the exception, of course, of probably Ohio State, who's obviously head and shoulders above everybody else, and we know that. So, but yeah, who knows what Michigan State's going to look like this weekend? Do they keep that going, or do they fall back to earth a little bit? What does Iowa look like against Iowa State? What does Michigan look like after a really good performance last week? So you're absolutely right. It's going to be a year where I think you see a lot of bold proclamations, and then a week later, those proclamations don't look real smart after we watch the games.
Where would you put Iowa in the league right now? Ohio State's number 1. Are they number 2?
They might be. I said Indiana's overrated. I still think Indiana's pretty good, and based off what they did last year and who they have at their skill positions, that was just a dominating performance. And Iowa looked better than I thought they were going to look. Now, again, we'll see what they look like against a top 10 team on the road this Saturday. But I think right now you have to put Iowa number 2 just based on what happened last week.
Does it feel like there's another potential playoff team other than Ohio State in this league?
Boy, I don't see it right now. Now, if Iowa wins Saturday and they look impressive doing it, you probably have to put them in the discussion, right? Because you've beaten 2 ranked teams, 2 top 20 teams out of the gate, and so you have to put them in that discussion. Their schedule obviously isn't going to get a lot tougher than it's been the first couple of weeks. So maybe Iowa, depending on what happens this Saturday. But other than that, again, I think it's a lot of pretty good teams. I don't know if it's a lot of great teams or playoff caliber teams outside of Ohio State.
There you go. Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. What's going on? Have you been to basketball practice lately? Any?
I've not.
Okay.
No basketball. I had baseball practice yesterday. Fall ball started yesterday.
That's right.
Fellas.
What do you think of playing Creighton and Wichita State? That's pretty cool.
I love that. And it was something we would have saw last year too, had it been a normal year. Of course, that's a rule change that got put in a couple of years ago, and we really haven't seen it play out yet, just because of the way the world's been. But yeah, that's going to be cool. Free admission. I think the Wichita State exhibition falls the same day as a Nebraska football game on a Saturday, so it gives fans a chance to go out, watch a little ball, tailgate, then head over to football. So. Yeah, that's going to be super fun. It's going to be a really good way to get a look at that team because quite frankly, we're going to need to get a look at them after some of the big names they lost.
Yeah, they lost some big names. Mojo finally moving on after his 10th year, but I think I like the recruiting classes. We're going to have Lance Arbel on a little bit later on. Anything you want to ask him?
You know what? Just how are those new guys going to fit in? I think that's kind of the big question. That recruiting class has obviously gotten a lot of hype and deservedly so. How fast can those guys make an impact? I think that's kind of the big question for that team right now.
How quickly do the new guys fit in? That's on the list of questions. Good stuff.
You can go and I'll send you an invoice in the mail for that one. You can just write me a check.
That's right. Among many other checks that we write every single week. But it's all worth it. It's Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. By the way, quick score prediction for Saturday.
I think Nebraska wins. I think they get to 30. I say Nebraska wins 31-17. They win by 2 touchdowns.
I'd take that. I think Husker Nation would definitely take that. Thanks for the time, Chris. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. You like that pick? That seems,
yeah,
that would cover.
That's covering. I don't know. I'm a little bit more worried about their offense putting up some points on Nebraska than Chris is. But
31-17, I would definitely take that. I'll take anything, though, at this point. Let's go to break and come back with the blog jog. Enrico next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies, very comfortable conditions this afternoon. Will top out at around 83. A northwest wind coming in at around 10. Heading into tonight, mostly clear, a low dropping down to 53. The quiet weather continues tomorrow. Will be sunny with a high once again near 83. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to Friendly Neighbors. Welcome to maintenance-free living. Welcome to Carriage Glen. Welcome home. It's everything you'd want in an active 55-plus rental community right here in Lincoln. Spacious floor plans, numerous amenities, beautiful surroundings near Holmes Lake, and much more. Plus, with Carriage Glen's current move-in special, you can save thousands if you act now. Carriage Glen invites you to take a personal tour or visit them online at carriageglenoflincoln.com. Discover the place you'll love to call home.
Tailgating is back, and Sartor Heyman Jewelers is offering a deal that'll really fire you up. Receive a free Traeger grill with a purchase of $2,500 or more. Take advantage of interest-free financing with no money down. Sartor Heyman has dazzling jewelry in every price range, so buy her the diamonds she's been dreaming of and get instantly rewarded with a free Traeger grill. Offer ends soon, so hurry in and get them while they're hot. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has been your go-to in South Lincoln for years, and their second location in downtown Lincoln is now open. Rosie's downtown spot is Lincoln's premier Nebraska party bar with the Sidetrack Band every Friday night of home games and all day for Nebraska home football games. With 34 TVs that are 65 inches or bigger, you'll always have a great view for all the games. Make sure to check out the new Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, now open in downtown Lincoln at 10th and P. Tractor Supply Distribution Center Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
New owners means new lunch specials at the Fox Bar and Grill. They've just introduced tons of options on their new under $10 lunch menu. Small nachos grande, a classic cheeseburger, 4 boneless or traditional wings and fries, or a small single topping pizza for just $5 each. Try the mushroom Swiss burger or the pepper jack stack burger for just $6. And for just $7, try any of the classic steak Philly, club wrap, grilled chicken salad, or grilled southwestern salad. It's the under $10 lunch menu at the Fox Bar and Grill, just south of 14th and Pine Lake.
Grab yourself a hot dog, pour a glass of eggnog, and settle in. This is the Blog Job on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is Blog Yog time, and here's Rico Suave. Hello, Rico. How are you?
I am well. Give me 1 second.
I had the other mic up because I thought he was going to do the thing from.
Oh no, he's in studio.
But he's in studio today.
Special day to grace us with his presence.
Well, he's a very popular man, and it's good to be close to somebody as popular as Rico.
It's a fact. People love me.
They do.
Text line loves you. How was your return to the happy hour?
It was met with lots of cheers and zero booze.
There we go. As it should be.
People were excited to have me back, and I am excited to be back. It's excited to grace you with my presence.
Maternity leave or paternity leave?
Not really a thing.
It's not really a thing?
Not really a thing.
It doesn't. No.
You were gone for a few days.
I was here.
About a month. Yeah, you were.
Do you have any baby stories to share yet?
He poops a lot. He eats a lot and he poops a lot. He's almost 8 pounds and he's like a week old.
Does he cry a lot?
A decent amount when he's hungry.
Does he sleep?
He does a little bit. Now he sleeps more. We just bought a sleep sack online. And it's like, because me and Rachel are terrible at swaddling with the regular blankets. So we bought one and he slept for a really long time last night.
Do you have one of those?
Yeah, those things are amazing. I never thought, I kind of want an adult one. Those look comfy.
Because we have one we call it the flying squirrel, where it's, you don't like put their arms down. It like has, so their arms can be up. And we used it for Ellie and she loved it. She slept through the night in that thing. But he's too little. So we want the one with his arms down. Slept really well last night. Hopefully it continues.
They always say once you have another kid, it's much easier.
Or you're less careful for some reason.
Right. I mean, you guys could do a whole talk show on parenting tips and stuff like that and take calls.
Yeah, I mean,
your dad.
Sure.
I don't know about easier.
I'm like
but
6
it is-
months in, but
I know a few things.
You're
But
gonna
it's
have
been
more.
like 2 years. I forgot how little they sleep when you bring them back from the hospital.
oh yeah.
And so, therefore, how little you sleep.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, Rachel. So he only wants her. She
Right.
has
That
food.
yeah, that's the other thing.
She has food,
They
I do
love
not.
the mom
That's
at
right.
first. They don't care too much about.
You
the
gonna have
dad.
more kids, Spock?
Oh, maybe someday. I think I'm hopefully gonna wait a few years.
All right. Wait a
Okay.
few years.
How about you, Tommy? You're gonna have any more kids?
Nope. Done and done.
Are you sure?
Okay.
Heidi raised 2 perfect kids. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah. What do you got?
Problem
What do you got in
solved.
the blog jog?
This one comes from CNN. Lil Uzi Vert. You know who that is, right, Tom?
I love his stuff.
What's your favorite Lil Uzi Vert song?
It's like Molly Hatchet, a buddy of mine said. He's great, or she's great. She's fantastic. Molly Hatchet.
Lil Uzi Vert says fans ripped the $24 million diamond out of his forehead. He had it.
They did?
He had it surgically implanted there. He jumped into the crowd at where was he at? What was it? Rolling Loud? Yeah, Rolling Loud at the festival. Rolling Loud in Miami.
He had to go to the
Jumped into
hospital.
crowd.
I'm guessing.
He's
Yeah,
probably more
kinda.
worried about his missing.
Yeah, no.
$24
He got
million
it back.
diamond.
He's
He
like,
did.
it's okay. You know, his forehead's okay.
Who had
and-
it?
And they don't. It doesn't say.
That's just
They get
awful.
arrested.
But he got
Yeah.
the diamond back.
I don't think you can do that. Well, but
It's a
if you're going to
pink
jump
diamond.
into a crowd, I mean, you get
Yeah.
what you get.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
the
pink
danger.
diamond, $24 million. Like if I mean, I am not advocating for this, but if somebody with a $24 million pink diamond, just like on their forehead or like in an earring or something, I mean, I'm gonna take it.
I've always, I got a buddy who's in a band, and occasionally he'll stage dive. I just think
Yeah.
it's insane to do that. I remember going to the Ranch Bowl in Omaha. It was a really small little concert venue, and the fans would throw them all the way back. Like they would,
Oh, yeah.
they would jump into the
Carry
crowd
'em
and,
back.
and they would hit the wall like at 10 miles an hour. It seemed like.
Makes sense.
They started to pick up speed the further they were going.
They're like
back.
ready,
The
and
wall's
everybody's
coming.
just like in sync, and they're just like go, 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 go.
I just, I've always thought it was dangerous, but I never thought about somebody getting a diamond pulled out of their heads.
Have you ever been crowd surfing?
Never tried it.
I've never tried it either, but I bet it'd be a pretty cool
They
feeling.
would let you do it at the Ranch Bowl, and people would go up on stage, jump out, and they'd be thrown against
Yeah,
the
but you
wall.
have to trust the people to catch you because sometimes
Yeah.
people are like, no,
No, he's too big.
yeah, that's the
I have
fear.
a weight limit.
Yeah.
don't want it. Then you can be the one person that's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and everybody else moves.
Get
And you're
crushed.
like, oh no.
What else you got?
And this one comes from also CNN. Plans for a $400 billion new city in the American desert has been unveiled. A former Walmart executive, his name is Mark Lohr, wants to build a Wakanda-like city
Yeah.
in an American
Whoa.
desert. He just needs to find where, and he needs $400 billion.
So just a big dome city.
That doesn't say it's going to be domed,
No.
but it's
They
very
just want another Las
futuristic.
Vegas
He wants to call it Tolosa, a sustainable metropolis
in the middle of the desert.
I think it needs to be
for
domed.
5 million people. He wants 5 million people to live there, a new city in America.
I like that idea though. Just like let's just make a new huge city.
You're not going to
It's not
do it
enough
for
huge
400
cities.
million. I mean, that'd be on the light. I mean, he's not going to do maybe 400 billion.
That's 400 billion. That's what
Oh, I
he's-
thought you said
no,
million.
Bill
Okay.
with a B.
With a B, okay.
Yeah. The ambitious $150,000 acre proposal promises eco-friendly architecture, sustainable energy production, and a purportedly drought-resistant water system.
Why don't they just like work on Phoenix or
No,
Vegas or something?
no. New city.
You already have like these cities in the middle of the desert. Why make another
Right,
one? Why don't
no.
we make one not in the middle of the
Have you heard
desert?
of Vegas? It's there.
Yeah.
New city. I want a new Wakanda-like city.
Unless
That's
it's
what I
in
want.
like New Mexico or something where there's not a big city. Maybe that'd help.
Yeah, you just need to
Would you
find
like
a
to
desert.
live in a desert? I mean,
no,
Arizona?
absolutely not. I went to Phoenix and thought about moving there, and I visited there. I said, no, absolutely not.
It's too freaking hot.
I do.
Although-
As long as I got a pool, I'm good to go.
Yeah, but you need a pool. It's not like, hey, a pool, that's a luxury item. It's
No.
like you need a pool when
You
you come
gotta-
off work
or if
because
I-
you hate life.
Or if I live on a
hate
lake. If I live on a lake.
It is true, though. It is a dry heat. I mean, I remember playing golf one day in Phoenix, or just outside of Phoenix, and it was 115 degrees. And I thought, this is not as bad as sometimes 90 in Nebraska.
I still don't like either one of them. I do not want to live in either.
You don't like a dry heat or
a
humid.
I think you're
sustainable.
already living here.
I know, but at least, but with Nebraska, it's only like a few days.
Are
and
you
it'll
more of a
change.
fan of humidity or dry heat? Which one are you?
I hate both heat and extreme cold. I like 79. 79
I don't
degrees.
mind. I don't mind the humidity if I don't have to go anywhere. Yeah. If I could just hang out outside somewhere, like at a pool or by some body of water, or I could stay inside. I'm good with it. Yeah. Dry heat, I don't know. I haven't really experienced that.
Big difference between, say, Phoenix and like Houston, where it's unbearably hot and it's also just sweatsville.
Yeah,
all the time.
I went to Puerto Rico in the summer for a cousin's wedding.
How'd that go?
Very humid. As soon as you walk outside, you start sweating.
That's why I think maybe
you just feel like your body is covered in water.
Maybe Arizona over Florida. Like if you're, because I'm at the retirement age.
Yeah. Well, also less stuff is trying to kill you in Arizona. See,
but so you consider all the things that could kill you before you move.
Yeah,
but if
you
they
don't,
but you got to worry about the desert. If they do kill you and they throw you in the desert, they'll never find you.
Yeah, but if they kill you and throw you in a swamp, they'll never find you.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, like if the mafia's everywhere in Arizona.
Also, if I die, I don't care if anybody finds me.
You don't?
I'm dead.
You don't want your kids or your wife to know what
I'm
happened
dead.
to you?
It's fine. I'll let her know.
You just had another kid.
Yeah. If I'm
talking about death,
if somebody kills me, I don't care if they can't find my body. I'm dead.
You don't care if the murderer goes life free. Doesn't have to worry about it.
I'm dead.
We would like
also,
to
my wife will find them. She's into murder stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So
There's a lot of training.
It's not. I've always been told this. Funerals are not about you. They're about the family. They're about us. We want to see you after you die.
Nah, I'll be fine.
I don't know though. Do you want to see?
No, I never want to see
caskets are kind of weird too. I think.
You don't want to see somebody. I mean, if they're 95, you can stand the.
Yeah,
I don't want to see Rico at 20. What are you?
27.
27. I don't want to see a dead Rico.
I want to be posed. I want to be dunking.
I want to be really
pose me on a basketball hoop.
I want to get one of those, like headstones are cool, but I like one of those, like they have those whole buildings that you can get to get a guy buried in. I want to do one of those. I'll probably have to build my own because they're very expensive. But
you can put that in your will. You can put all that stuff in. Although what I'm told about wills is they don't have to. They don't have to pay attention.
On my
to
headstone,
that.
I wanted to say hello.
And pull string.
Yeah, you pull it. Just, hello.
They should record that now.
Exactly.
And it's actually Rico's voice saying hello.
We should make cemeteries more fun. I agree.
Cemeteries are too sad. Let's make it more fun.
The death process in general should be much more fun than
That's right.
Death is sad. Let's make it fun.
How can we make death fun?
I think we're onto something here.
Let's go.
Where's
Ideas.
Elmo when you need him?
All right. Thanks, Rico. Appreciate it. Box tops. What's the category today?
Oh, I like going through the famous alumni of every school we play. So a lot of famous alumni. Not quite the Fordham list, but a pretty good list.
Was really good.
Yeah, there's no Denzel Washington on this.
Yeah, we needed to treat Fordham with more respect. They had Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Buffalo, not as good, but we'll do the list coming up.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to the ticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Venue at Home is your answer for locally made, freshly prepared meals delivered to your door every week. Our meals come ready to heat and eat. With sizes for 2 people or 4, Venue at Home is perfect for busy people who want a quick, easy, and delicious meal option to share with your roommates or feed the whole family. Add on from our wide selection of appetizers, sides, desserts, alcohol, and more. Receive a discount on your meals by subscribing to get Venue at Home delivered every week. Visit venueathome.net to order today. That's venueathome.net.
Welcome to Friendly Neighbors. Welcome to maintenance-free living. Welcome to Carriage Glen. Welcome home. It's everything you'd want in an active 55-plus rental community right here in Lincoln. Spacious floor plans, numerous amenities, beautiful surroundings near Holmes Lake, and much more. Plus, with Carriage Glen's current move-in special, you can save thousands if you act now. Carriage Glen invites you to take a personal tour or visit them online at carriageglenoflincoln.com. Discover the place you'll love to call home.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses. And you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it would.
Papillion South will have 2 games this week to defend their spot at number 1. They play Lincoln Pius on Tuesday and Elkhorn South on Thursday. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppell Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome, hour number 2. It is Tom and Bock. I'm Tom Stevens. That's Jake Bockoven. Together, Tom and Bock is what we're called. One thing we learned about Nebraska football following Saturday's 52-7 win over Fordham is that they do have a depth chart. At least we saw the guys that come in as backups, and they did put out a depth chart for that game. Logan Smothers is the backup quarterback, at least for now. And he played, I thought, pretty well. He did have that fumble, but came in, first drive, 10 plays, bam, touchdown. In fact, Nebraska scored on 2 of his 3 drives that he operated. Not too shabby, right?
That's probably a better percentage than Martinez. Maybe that guy should start.
Well, and he probably would have been 3 for 3. He should have been 3 for 3, but he fumbled.
Yeah, well, that sounds more like Martinez.
I didn't mean this segment to necessarily be mean.
Well, it's not mean.
It's fact.
It's funny.
But he was 4 of 7 for 50 yards, including a 30-yard TD pass or a 30-yard pass to Xavier Betts. He also ran 4 times, 36 yards. Did have that fumble, ripped it off the big run inside the 20-yard line, then fumbled. But what would you give him for a grade?
Well, I think that's pretty solid. A B+ coming in. I mean, those fumbles are absolutely huge. That's what's hard. It's like you can't do that.
Martinez had one as well that could have been disastrous.
Right.
Logan's was a little bit disastrous.
But I mean, if you take the fumbles out of Martinez's game, I think people are pretty happy with Martinez, right?
But isn't that his whole career?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty important, especially at Nebraska, that in your limited playing time, you don't fumble, because every quarterback we've had,
they're really good.
since Joe Ganza fumbled.
And actually, last year, Nebraska running backs didn't fumble a lot. I think there was one fumble Saturday, and then Cam Taylor-Britt had the fumble in the special teams. But that was, 4 fumbles, and you lose 2. That's not good. So I don't think the thing that we were all asking for, a really clean football game, we necessarily got it. He had 2 penalties for 10 yards. That's good.
That was nice.
But special teams were not clean, and the fumbles were not clean. I mean, they cleanly fumbled, but I guess they clearly and cleanly fumbled. One of the things that's I don't think his height is right. Logan Smothers. They list him at 6'2", 195. He does not look that tall.
He looked kind of
that
looked
big.
smaller. Yeah.
I remember standing next to Eric Crouch, even the year he won the Heisman, and he was listed at 6'1". And there's no way that he was more than 5'11". That feels a little bit like Logan Smothers.
Yeah. And I know Happer especially kind of compared his stature to Luke McCaffrey, and that's what it kind of looked like. Luke McCaffrey was small to come in as a quarterback. He's a little bit bigger than that, but he's not too big. But, you don't have to be too big to be a college quarterback. You can get it done in a lot of different shapes and sizes, and he looks like he's got a good, a solid future for him. I think it'll be this year. We've seen over the last several years, Adrian's, got injured, banged up. For a drive or two, expect it to happen, maybe even a game or two.
Backups usually play at Nebraska at least 2 games a year. That's just write it down. And especially since we thought Adrian was going to run less this year, not so much.
No, they're going to need him to run.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we've learned about Adrian Martinez is you're really going to need him to run. Need to get that thing down to about 8 or 10 carries a game. No, it's going to probably be 15 if you want to win.
Yeah, especially in the bigger games, yeah.
Yeah. One other thing that I really like about Logan, 10-700 guy, he seems to make decent decisions, doesn't seem to have a big arm. I think Adrian's arm is better than his. They did go through that thing where I think they tried to change his mechanics in the spring, and maybe it's taken over now. Scott Frost says he likes him because he thinks through things. He thinks through the game really well. So he's probably going to be your backup. In fact, Harburg wasn't third.
Yeah. Is he listed as third on the depth chart, though?
I don't know.
I think he is, but Masker took one snap.
Yeah, one snap. So Harburg seems like he has a ways to go. And obviously, Logan's been here 1 year longer. So, that's not necessarily a horrible thing.
Well, and it's interesting, too, just to look at, snap count and what you want to do. What did Scott Frost and his staff feel was most important once the backups came in? Because you could argue, you want to get Logan some other snaps, but maybe, with Harburg, you got 4 games that you can put him in and not lose any eligibility. Would you want to at least get him a series to get a drive going? And that's up to you what you want to do. But to me, I think they might have made the right decision because of what we said. It's likely you're going to need that backup quarterback. Get him as ready as you can, and you can worry about, third and fourth string in the future, all that stuff later, and hopefully in practice reps and maybe even years afterwards. I mean, because you always talk about those young freshman quarterback, you want to at least get them a look and all that, but half of them transfer before they ever start a game at your school. Right. So you really need to solidify that backup spot. And I think that's what they're doing by giving Logan Smothers most opportunities.
It seems like quarterbacks are playing earlier and earlier in college football, especially the really good ones, but those guys are usually 5 stars. But Logan did kind of blow up at the end of the recruiting process. And a lot of people were asking about him and trying to recruit him. And Nebraska was able to hold that commitment and then gain his signature, and I think they were pretty happy about that. But then they screwed with his passing motion, which maybe it needed to be, and that's the one knock I have on him. I do think he does think through the game well. He's really athletic. I wonder if he has a big enough arm to complete the ball more than 30 yards downfield.
Yeah, I mean, that could be something of a problem that we see. But again, you just kind of compare it to your backup last year. I don't know if you took a step down. He obviously doesn't have the speed that McCaffrey does. But as far as
he's fast.
He's got some movement himself. We'll have to see. You just kind of have to see it in game action. But at least the passes he threw, sometimes McCaffrey threw absolute rocks. It looked pretty solid. I don't know about if he's got an arm to sling it downfield, but as far as intermediate routes and stuff like that, it looks pretty solid. And hopefully he's at least got a big enough arm to take some shots to move the safeties back.
Well, history tells us he'll play in 2 games this year, probably because of the need for him to play in 2 games. And again, I go back to the fact that you're running Adrian a lot. That opens up to a lot of hits for Adrian Martinez. And that's kind of been what's happened to Nebraska football in his first 3 years at quarterback. Let's get to box tops. All
right, today we have the 10 most notable alumni from Buffalo, the opponent this week. And again, some of them, it's more association. Some of them coached at Buffalo, not necessarily went to school there. So we'll just go through that. At number 10, we have Harvey Weinstein. Tom, I'll let you go ahead and give commentary there.
He's a movie maker. He makes movies.
That's right.
And he does other things in his spare time.
He's done some other things, and that's why he's back at number 10, and we're going to move on quickly from him.
That's probably a wise move.
Number 9, Buffalo's actually got a pretty good school for wrestling, pro wrestling.
Really?
They have 3 former pro wrestlers that graduated from there. Chris Canyon, the late Chris Canyon, probably the most famous among them. Muhammad Hassan and Ezekiel Jackson also wrestled. You know any of those wrestlers? Chris Canyon was like the 90s.
I remember his name.
Yeah.
But I'm not like DP. I mean, you're probably this way a little bit.
Yeah.
You can rattle off wrestlers.
I'm a big wrestling fan.
You're a big wrestling fan.
All right.
Monday night or Sunday night or Tuesday?
Oh, more of a Monday Night Raw guy, but
yeah,
lately SmackDown's better. That's Friday nights.
Friday night.
Okay. I'll keep talking. No, you don't care anymore. Okay.
I don't know anything about wrestling.
Okay. The next couple guys I grouped together because there's only 10, and I couldn't fit both. Everybody in here. Number 8 on my list is Power 5 ADs. There's 2 Power 5 ADs that used to be athletic directors at Buffalo. It seems to be a bit of a prepare type of school. Michigan's Ward Manuel was the athletic director from there from 2005 to 2012. And he was replaced by Tennessee's Danny White from 2012 to 2015. So now 2 pretty power schools, Michigan and Tennessee, athletic directors kind of got their starter.
Wasn't Danny White at UCF for a while?
I think so, yeah.
Scott Frost as well? Wow. Okay.
I think that's the same Danny White. I don't know how many Danny White athletic directors there
can't be that many.
I'll have to double check that. I think you're right, though. I think that's the same guy. Number 7 on my list. How about 2 former football players from there, running backs? We'll start with James Starks. Do you remember James Starks, backup running back for the Packers?
I do. He was decent. I mean, what are we talking, 90s?
No. James Starks was like the backup from 2010 to 2016.
Okay. All right. Okay.
He kind of took Brandon Jackson. Remember Brandon Jackson started for that Super Bowl team?
Yep.
James Starks kind of came in the playoffs and took that role.
I was thinking of the Amon era.
Yeah. Anyway, he was drafted in the 6th round. His senior year at Buffalo was 1,333 yards and 16 touchdowns. He set some career records there. Brandon Oliver, you recognize him from a fantasy football?
I do recognize that name.
Yeah, that's why I put these guys in the back of the list together, because they're just kind of backups for here and there.
Starks was bigger than Oliver.
He was, but Oliver actually played college football at University of Buffalo from 2010 to 2013. He set the school record for career rushing yards, breaking the record previously held by James Starks.
Woo-hoo!
Starks had predicted that Oliver would break his record in 2009 when Starks was a senior and Oliver was just a redshirt freshman.
Wow, that's good. I mean, at least they're decent.
Yeah, they had some NFL running backs. There's nothing to poo-poo about that. Or what's Scott Frost's words? Boo-boos?
Boo-boo.
I said poo-poo, but boo-boo.
Yeah,
no boo-boos there. He ended his career, Oliver did, with 4,049 career rushing yards and 33 touchdowns at Buffalo, and he led the San Diego Chargers in rushing in 2014. Didn't really pick up too much from there. I mean, his career kind of ended pretty quickly after that. I think he's playing in some lower level of football now at this point. I don't know. Usually I'd say like the XFL, the Canadian Football League. Those are both dead, so I don't know where he plays now.
Are there any other
Arena Football League
outside of the Canadian League?
Yeah.
They're all dead.
Yeah. A lot of most leagues that aren't the NFL die pretty quickly. Number 6 on my list, Gregory Jarvis. He was an American engineer and an astronaut. Who died during the destruction of this Space Shuttle Challenger in 1986 when the Challenger exploded. The East Engineering Building on the University of Buffalo, is North Campus, was now renamed, or not now, was renamed at the time after Jarvis Hall, was renamed Jarvis Hall after Gregory Jarvis' death.
It's sad.
It is sad, but it's kind of a cool piece of history. The Challenger exploding, we talked about 9/11. This is obviously like 15 years before that. I wasn't even alive then. Do you remember that?
I do remember it. I don't remember, unlike 9/11, I don't remember where I was. I really don't. I don't remember where I was when Challenger, and most other big events like that, I do remember. I don't remember exactly where I was. I had already graduated from college, though, at that point.
All right, number 5 on my list. How about Matt Rule, the Carolina Panthers head coach? He actually did graduate from Buffalo. I think he got his master's degree in educational psychology from there in 2003. He actually played college ball under Joe Paterno at Penn State, but obviously he was the Temple and Baylor coach that succeeded pretty quickly. He moved pretty quickly from college to pro at Baylor. He had like one or two good years there, and Panthers grabbed him there.
Yeah, it felt like a few guys were doing that in the NFL, getting gigs. I think of Kingsbury. I mean, doing that at the college level. That was kind of a hip thing, the Zach Taylors of the world, the Matt Rules of the world. You get the young, hip, offensive mind guy in the NFL.
Yeah, as a Cardinals fan, I'm still not sure if Kingsbury is the answer. He didn't really have a good college career as a head coach, but I figured why not? He seems to be an offensive innovator. And just to report, from earlier, Danny White, the athletic director, his first athletic director job that wasn't an assistant or senior associate athletic director job was at Buffalo from 2012 to 2015. And then he went to UCF from 2015 to 2021. And just recently, now 2021 to now, which is 2021, Tennessee.
Okay.
So
that's right. I did realize that he went to, and he took Heupel with him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's one of the reasons he took Heupel. It's obviously he knew him pretty well.
Yeah, that UCF gig seems to get people to the next level pretty
easily. It does. Yep.
Number 4 on my list, John Walsh. You recognize the name John Walsh?
Like America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. It's John Walsh. Good voice. He created that show actually, and is the host. Yeah. He's a University of Buffalo graduate.
I think it's still in syndication somewhere.
I think so. I would think so.
And they catch a lot of dirt bags. I mean, he says that a lot. He's a dirt bag.
That's right.
Call this number if you see him. He's a dirt bag. I don't know that he's ever actually said that.
Yeah, that sounds like something he'd say. Number 3 on my list. How about Wolf Isaac Blitzer? Wolf Blitzer.
Oh, yeah.
His real name is Wolf Blitzer. I had to look it up.
Still on CNN, right?
Yeah,
He's
since
still a big
1990. Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah, there we go.
Now we're cooking.
Now we're on the top 2 here. All right, how about this one? I don't think he actually went here, but he was the chancellor at Buffalo at one time and helped actually found the school in 1846. Millard Fillmore was the 13th president of the United States, serving from 1850 to 1853. I've got a lot of information here. You just react once I've done with my statement here. He's the last to be a member of the Whig Party while in the White House. You big Whig Party fan?
Oh, I love wigs, and I try to. I'm wearing one right now. I wear. That's cool.
Yeah.
What'd you say? When was he president?
1850 to 1853.
Yeah. Did you vote for him?
Oh, well, you didn't. And actually, nobody voted for him. Fillmore was elected the 12th vice president in 1848, and he succeeded in presidency in 1850 upon the death of U.S. President Zachary Taylor. So he was voted in as a vice president. Zachary Taylor died likely of infectious diarrhea.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I'm guessing at that time, a lot of people died of diarrhea.
Yeah, it was actually a problem going through. He reportedly consumed copious amounts of raw fruit, mostly cherries, and iced milk while attending a holiday celebration during a fundraising event at the Washington Monument, which was under construction. And then he shortly after died, likely of diarrhea.
You don't hear a lot of people dying of diarrhea these days.
No, that's good. That's good. But
that's good. That's
either way, it helped Fillmore at least become president. And like I said, he was the chancellor at the University of Buffalo. And he helped found the school in 1846. Big Buffalo fan. City of Buffalo. He's like one of their big guys. And obviously, number 1, Khalil Mack, obviously. 2016 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. 6-time Pro Bowler. First team All-American at Buffalo in 2013, which led him to being picked 5th in the 2014 draft. He finished his career in the NCAA, tied first in career tackles for loss with 75, and set a new record for forced fumbles with 16. He actually chose to wear the uniform number 46 as a motivational reminder, as his true potential was not recognized quite yet. 46 was the overall rating assigned to him in EA Sports college football video game NCAA Football 11. So that's why he chose the number.
Yeah, you could make an argument for Khalil, but over a U.S. president and John Wall and Wolf Blitzer,
he's a defensive player of the year. He's currently still a pretty good player.
I know you draft him, but number 1 on the list. Yeah, he's. Where would you put him?
What do you think Millard Fillmore's biggest accomplishment as president was?
I don't know. Dying of diarrhea.
No. That was Zachary Taylor.
Right, that's Zachary Taylor. I don't know.
He doesn't have any defensive player of the year awards.
I like the list. No, I enjoyed it. I don't know if you've heard about this. Speaking of dying, it's sad news. I grew up with him a little bit. Sam Bam Cunningham. He's actually, I didn't even know that he was the brother of Randall Cunningham, but he passed away at the age of 71. Do you remember Sam Bam Cunningham?
I don't remember that. I remember Randall.
He is actually credited, in part at least, with integrating college football. In 1970, his team, USC, he was a sophomore, played Alabama. They destroyed him. Alabama didn't have any white players on their team. USC had several, including
Any black players. They had all white players.
They had all white players. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. They didn't have any black players, but obviously USC did beat them badly. And there's a famous quote that Sam Cunningham did more to integrate Alabama football, or in Alabama in general, in 60 minutes than Martin Luther King did in 20 years, which is not true.
Whoa.
But that's a big statement. Jerry Claiborne said that. He was a Bear Bryant assistant in the 70s and 80s. But they did integrate. In fact, the very next year, they did. In 71, they played Nebraska for the national championship in the Orange Bowl. Nebraska destroyed them 38-6. But after that, Bear Bryant recruited a lot of black players, and they won 3 national titles in the 70s. And Sam Bam Cunningham is credited with not just Alabama integration, but throughout the South. You saw a lot more black players being recruited. In fact, they had scholarship players on that 71 team when Nebraska played them. Not a ton of them, but Nebraska beat them and beat them rather handily for the national title. But Sam Bam Cunningham passed at the age of 71. So there you go. Really, really good running back. I remember in, I think it was 72 Rose Bowl. He scored 4 touchdowns against Ohio State. They won the national title in 1973. He was drafted by the New England Patriots as their all-time leading rusher. Was not in the Hall of Fame in pro football. I think he made the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it looks like he had a Pro Bowl in 1978, but not too much other than that. But
yeah, he was a great, great college running back. Big, strong guy. So there you go. I want to get to break. Let's come back. It's more of Tom and Bock next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Sunny skies, very comfortable conditions this afternoon. Will top out at around 83. A northwest wind coming in at around 10. Heading into tonight, mostly clear. A low dropping down to 53. The quiet weather continues tomorrow. Will be sunny with a high once again near 83. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lay the groundwork for more harvesting capacity when you order a new John Deere combine during Landmark Implement's early order program. Whether you're looking to improve your existing combine or you've been wanting to update to a new model year, now is the time to upgrade. Get the very latest harvesting equipment and technology that fit your operations needs, then get it ordered. You can get your new John Deere combine built just the way you want. Contact your local Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome to Friendly Neighbors. Welcome to maintenance-free living. Welcome to Carriage Glen. Welcome home. It's everything you'd want in an active 55-plus rental community right here in Lincoln. Spacious floor plans, numerous amenities, beautiful surroundings near Holmes Lake, and much more. Plus, with Carriage Glen's current move-in special, you can save thousands if you act now. Carriage Glen invites you to take a personal tour or visit them online at carriageglenoflincoln.com. Discover the place you'll love to call home.
Where will you go next? The Southeast Community College Fall 2021 Continuing Education schedule of classes is arriving in your mailbox. Take a class in leadership and professional development, like real estate license prep, business courses like accounting and financials, or building a business plan, or 19 pages of personal interest classes like dog grooming, making jewelry, or even charcuterie. The entire schedule is online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. This weekend, Crystal Palace takes top place Tottenham at 6:30 a.m. Arsenal takes on Norwich City at 9. Man United at Newcastle also at 9. Also, Leicester City and Man City at 9 a.m. Chelsea, Aston Villa at 11:30. And at 2 o'clock, Everton and Burnley, all at McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters for English Premier League soccer in Lincoln at 8th and P.
Venue at Home is your answer for locally made, freshly prepared meals delivered to your door every week. Our meals come ready to heat and eat. With sizes for 2 people or 4, Venue at Home is perfect for busy people who want a quick, easy, and delicious meal option to share with your roommates or feed the whole family. Add on from our wide selection of appetizers, sides, desserts, alcohol, and more. Receive a discount on your meals by subscribing to get Venue at Home delivered every week. Visit venueathome.net to order today. That's venueathome.net.
Tailgating is back, and Sartor Heyman Jewelers is offering a deal that'll really fire you up. Receive a free Traeger grill with a purchase of $2,500 or more. Take advantage of interest-free financing with no money down. Sartor Heyman has dazzling jewelry in every price range, so buy her the diamonds she's been dreaming of and get instantly rewarded with a free Traeger grill. Offer ends soon, so hurry in and get them while they're hot. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Tom and Bock. Noon hour, 12:28 on your drive, on your lunch break. It sounds like it felt like a song from the 90s that I would do a ramp on. Sorry about that, Bock.
Oh, I like it. I like the FM DJ,
right.
Tom.
On your drive, hope you enjoy this off the text line. We never had a text line back in the day.
Back in the 90s. Yeah, that's right.
We never had it. We just had a hit line. Now we have a text line.
How did that work? The people would call in and request a song?
They would call, and then you would record it, and you'd play it over the ramp, and you'd try to hit the post, and it would be great. One of my very first concerts was Van Halen, by the way.
Was it really the real Van Halen, or before they switched the?
It was David Lee Roth, Van Halen, before Sammy, and I remember it was so unsafe. It was at the Civic Auditorium in Omaha, and there was so much pushing and shoving, and people shoved against the stage. They finally had to end that. People standing around the stage and just packing them in like sardines. But I also remember that David Lee Roth came out, and during Jump, that song, he ripped off his chaps. He was wearing chaps, and you could see his bare bottom, and that was
assless chaps, my favorite ones.
Yeah. Do you have some at home? Assless chaps?
I get one in every color. Yeah.
I never saw you as a chaps guy.
Are you? Did you? I mean, when you go to a Van Halen concert, obviously times were different. Everybody's dressed differently. But did you dress up like Van Halen?
No. But people did. I mean, they dressed in concert garb, lots of leather.
Yeah.
I remember going to the Iowa Jam, and there was Loverboy and Triumph and 38 Special, I think, was playing, a bunch of bands. And back in those days, it was like at a racetrack, and it had rained the night before. It was really muddy. But there's a lot of people in mud, a lot of girls in mud, but also dressed up for a concert.
Oh, no, yeah.
It was a weird combination. But I do remember that back in the day. I think people dressed more for concerts back in the day. Now they just wear a T-shirt and jeans and you're good.
Yeah, sometimes it's pretty cool to dress up and something nice.
You still wear the chaps.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's good. That's good to know. Bock does that. We know that Nebraska football has taken a small recruiting class this year. It's maybe as few as 13 guys. And there's a bunch of guys that could come back. Guys like Adrian Martinez, there's Travis Vokalek, there's Damian Daniels, there's DeAndre Thomas, Austin Allen. They'll all have decisions to make whether or not to come back to Nebraska next year or, go to the NFL draft or transfer to another school or whatever they decide to do. That might mean Nebraska could rely more on the transfer portal. And Scott Frost talked about the transfer portal and how it's blowing up and changing college football. A couple of the big guys on this team, Samari Toure, you could make an argument. He's been really impressive. I thought he was the most impressive guy on the field. It was Fordham, but the most impressive guy on the field on Saturday.
Yeah.
I thought he was 8 catches, 133 or whatever it was. Really good. Marquise Stepp ran for 100 yards. Those are 2 transfer portal guys. And they fit the culture. And that is what Frost is concerned about. He says, we definitely want people who fit us from a football standpoint and from a culture standpoint. I love where the locker room is right now, and I never want to upset that. We'll see where we fall with the number of freshmen and transfers this year. If it stays the same, Nebraska's going to be at like 94 next year. Way too many scholarship players. That would be their scholarship number, I think, for next year. So some guys are going to have to leave. I mean, they're going to have to weed some dudes out some way, somehow, but you're only taking a class of maybe 13. They might have to rethink that. But what do you think about his thing on the locker room? Like, we definitely want people who fit our culture from the standpoint of culture. And he's talking about the locker room. He doesn't want to screw up the locker room.
I mean, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I mean, you've got to take your chances. We always say, you can't just have a whole team of choir boys. You need to have some guys that might go against the grain a little bit in the locker room or might not make that area a little, as good. But you need to get more talent on the field. You mentioned it. Where would this team be without Stepp and Toure? I mean, the offense doesn't look great as it is, but those look like, 2 of the key cogs moving forward. And I know some people don't want to get too transfer heavy, too JUCO heavy. You could say that's it's better to have those young guys in the program 4 years, kind of make them the way mold them the way that you want to. But there's so many good JUCOs and so many good. Now it's not even JUCOs; it's just transfers. And especially without having you get to do it. You don't have to sit out a year. You're seeing it go everywhere. I mean, Michigan State, I believe, or who was it that Michigan State obviously has the Wake Forest running back. Can't remember who it was that grabbed a Clemson defensive tackle. But you need to, I mean, that's college football these days. If you're just recruiting freshmen, good luck.
Yeah, you're thinking of what is his name? That had the big game. Walker, Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker had the big name.
He might completely change Michigan State. They averaged 2 yards per carry last year. Yeah. And in the first week, he's the nation's leading rusher. Yeah. I wouldn't worry about their locker room culture too much if you can get a guy like that.
It's something to talk about. And I want to explore it further down the road because Sam said something on our previous show that made me think about the size of the roster and that maybe Scott Frost needs to recruit more transfers. And I don't want to put words into Sam's mouth. We'll replay the bite and then we'll react to it. Maybe we'll get to that later in the show or even tomorrow. I want to bring in Doug LeMaurice of Cleveland.com, covers Ohio State football and Cleveland Browns football. How are the Browns going to be there this year, Doug?
Super Bowl fever is alive and well in Cleveland.
You're all in. You are all in. Well, you should be on the Buckeyes. They look very good, but you wrote about it. That even in the 45-31 win last Thursday night over Minnesota, you had some concerns. What are they in particular?
Well, the secondary is still an issue. I think talent-wise, the secondary is still half step below what you're used to at Ohio State, at a place where you have first-round NFL draft picks like Jeff Okudah and Denzel Ward and Marshawn Lattimore and Damon Arnett and Garyon Conley on a pretty regular basis at cornerback. I still think they're not quite there. They had a recruiting lull with some assistant coach transition in the secondary several years ago that they felt the effects of that last year, and I think still to some degree this year. They've got it back in recruiting, but it's not instantaneous. So, but it was weird last week at Minnesota because their top two outside corners that we expected to be the guys, neither of them played. So they started a redshirt freshman and a true freshman at cornerback against Minnesota. We expect the other two guys to probably work their way back sooner than later. We think one probably will be back this week for Oregon, but I still think that secondary, which was an issue last year, remains an issue. It's just a matter of sort of who are the teams in the Big Ten that can kind of maybe make them pay for that.
That true freshman started did catch my eye, and obviously Ohio State recruits, amongst the best. How often do you see a true freshman make a start for the Buckeyes?
Usually not on purpose. Usually, even at Ohio State, I mean, part of it is because at Ohio State, you have a talent level that it's usually not necessary. They started a guy on the offensive line several years ago, Michael Jordan, who wound up a draft pick of the Cincinnati Bengals, and it was like, oh, cool, he's a true freshman starting at guard. It was like, yeah, that wasn't the plan. Every time, I mean, unless it's Orlando Pace, right? Almost every time a true freshman starts, it's because something went wrong. Mm-hmm. So Denzel Burke, the guy who started, was the lowest rated cornerback recruit they had in this class, but he was the guy who got in spring. The other two higher rated recruits were not here for spring ball, and he lit it up in practice in spring, lit it up in August, and really impressed everybody. So to some degree, he earned that job, but still at Ohio State, you should have older sort of 4- and 5-star guys blocking him. And at the moment, with the injuries and with the recruiting lull, there's not the guys blocking him that are usually there.
Doug Maurice of the Cleveland.com talking Ohio State football. It was obvious what PJ Fleck was trying to do in that game, burn clock, run Mo Ibrahim, and it worked. He ran for 160 yards. Obviously, the defense was the liability for Minnesota, but it felt like maybe you can get to Ohio State at least a little bit running the footballs. That's the recipe to beat them.
I don't know, because I think you're still better off taking shots against the secondary. The defensive line is pretty good. There's no Chase Young, but Zach Harrison is their best defensive end. He's going to be a first-round draft pick probably. He's a third-year guy. Had a really good game against the run. Had a really important sack for them. Strip sack that led to a touchdown, in fact. He's quite good. And then Haskell Garrett on the defensive line, defensive tackle, was an All-American last year. Mo Ibrahim got it done, but, the yards per carry weren't through the roof, and he is like a really professional, smart back with vision and toughness. They missed some tackles at the linebacker level, which is an issue that may stick around. But I think in the end, Ohio State's so explosive offensively, you can either try to slow it down like PJ Fleck did, and Minnesota always wants to win time of possession. But I think more often than not, you're probably going to try to have to outscore them. And that means you're going to have to test this secondary and throw.
Yeah.
Obviously, all eyes were on quarterback C.J. Stroud with his first start, and it did take maybe a half for him to really get warmed up. But once they got it, man, there was no stopping Ohio State for getting like 15 or especially more. I mean, you could still tell the difference of speed if anybody got in the open field. But how are they evaluating C.J. Stroud up there?
Missed some throws, hung in. Didn't give up, right? They like the decision making. They like the toughness. He threw an interception in the middle of the field because he threw a pass behind Chris Olave. But it's just Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson are so explosive. I don't think there's anybody in the Big Ten that can cover them. The fact that there's two of them, you can't focus on one guy. And they're a threat to score a 70-yard touchdown on every snap. And I mean, the Wilson touchdown, he's probably running 7 yards open because Minnesota's trying to cover him one-on-one with the safety on a post route, and the guy just has no chance. And then, Chris Olave catches the ball on the sideline. He's open by 10 yards, and it's not a hard throw. And then he gets 30 yards in the air, and the other 30 are after the catch. And it's two relatively easy throws for C.J. Stroud. So that's what they know. C.J. Stroud does not have to be a world beater because their receivers are just going to be so open, I think, through the Big Ten schedule. And it's a thing that any kind of close game, it's like, well, they always have that explosive play in their back pocket, and I just don't think there's anybody in this conference that can match that.
Do you have a comparison for C.J. Stroud's gameplay? I mean, I couldn't tell if he was too much of a runner, and Ohio State, that's been a big part of the offense. And it's just tough. I mean, here in Nebraska, you'd be pretty happy with him, but you have to be like a Heisman contender to be able to start at Ohio State. Do you have a comparison of a recent Buckeyes quarterback that kind of played like he did, or does he seem to bring something different?
Because we're still trying to figure out how exactly they're going to use him. He's not as athletic as Justin Fields, and they are definitely not going to run him like the Buckeyes ran J.T. Barrett.
Yeah.
He throws a pretty good ball. In Dwayne Haskins in 2018, when they really leaned on the passing offense, that's because Dwayne Haskins couldn't really run at all. C.J. runs better than that, but with Dwayne, they just got the ball out of his hands, and it was bing, bang, boom, and he threw for like 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
So they threw a bunch of bubble screens this game. I think it might lean a little bit towards that, where they'll get it out of his hands, get it to the playmakers, but then hit it over the top at times. I don't think he's going to run a ton. There was a play last week where it was like 3rd and 10, and he tried to scramble, and it was a play where a year ago, Justin Fields scrambling on 3rd and 10 would have been dangerous, and CJ got out there and was like, yeah, he is not getting the first down. Yeah. And he got 4 yards and got tackled. So he's not going to beat people with his legs. So it might be more like Dwayne Haskins in 2018.
Well, he's got a couple of great wide receivers, and obviously Chris Olive with a couple of touchdown catches, and Garrett Nelson, 56-yarder. They've definitely got the weapons there, so we'll see about Stroud going forward. You mentioned the way maybe to beat Ohio State is passing the football. Is that Oregon this Saturday? They're on the road. They've got Oregon, number 12. How big of a concern is that for you?
I don't think it's Oregon. I watched enough of Oregon's game last week, and Anthony Brown, the transfer, is not it. He's a patch quarterback. They have a big-time freshman recruit who they're not ready to play yet. Oregon is less dangerous than I thought going into the season. Again, if Kayvon Thibodeau, who's the best defenseman in college football, can't play, I think Oregon has no chance. He went out in the 5th series against Fresno State last week. Sprained ankle, they say he's day-to-day. Maybe he'll play, but will he be himself? I think defensively, Oregon has a better chance. They have some talented guys in the secondary who have a better chance to hang with the receivers than Minnesota did. But this quarterback is not it. And that's the deal in the Big Ten. Like, where are the quarterbacks that can do it? There just aren't that many traditionally who can do it. If you thought Graham Mertz at Wisconsin was going to be a guy like that, he sure didn't look like that guy last week. Michael Penix threw 3 picks last week. Is he the guy? Maybe J.J. McCarthy at Michigan, but he's a true freshman. It's just, that's the thing, at the playoff level, Ohio State, when you're facing Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones, then you can exploit Ohio State's secondary. It's just traditionally the Big Ten has not had the quarterback to make Ohio State's defenses pay.
And obviously every year now it seems like there's just this group of Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, that you kind of see as the front runners and are probably going to make the playoffs. It was interesting in week 1 because Clemson didn't obviously look near as good as they had in the past. Georgia's offense looks like it's struggling, and Alabama looked great. Would you say Ohio State? I know they have Georgia ranked number 2, but that offense I think is going to be tough to win some of those games in the SEC. Do you like Ohio State's chances probably to line up with Alabama? I know it's early.
I think Georgia's still going to be good. Georgia is it's like their 4 or 5 top pass catchers in that game. George Pickens is going to be back. Their best tight end was out for that game. Another couple receivers they rely on were out. I think the Georgia offense will get better. So I actually really like Georgia this year. And that Georgia defense is so dynamic, and it just throttles people. I think that will continue. I think Clemson's going to have more issues. I have Ohio State in the playoffs. Before the season, I predicted Ohio State to be the only Power 5 team to get through undefeated. And that doesn't mean they're the best team in the country, but I think they just aren't going to get tested as much. I still think Bama could lose a game in the SEC, whether it's to Georgia in the SEC championship game, maybe Texas A&M in the regular season. I think Ohio State's headed to the playoff, though, because I just don't know that Penn State or Indiana or either Wisconsin or Iowa in the Big Ten championship game is going to have enough. So I do think they are headed back to the playoff. But this is not Ohio State's best team. They're going to have a team a couple years down the road that I think is going to be sort of peak Ohio State. I think this is not quite peak Ohio State, though.
It sounds like you're saying you don't think there's another team from the Big Ten that can make the college football playoff either, right?
I did not like Wisconsin on Saturday. I thought Iowa played very well. I thought Iowa's defense played really well. Tyler Goodson is a real dude. I thought Spencer Petras got it done. I like a lot of Iowa, but from an explosion standpoint, I don't know that it's there. I don't think Indiana is going to quite replicate last season. And Penn State, I just think it's hard to trust Sean Clifford at quarterback. He made some great throws when Jahan Dotson was 10 yards behind Wisconsin's defense on Saturday, and Jahan Dotson is a playmaker. He will get some stuff done. But I still don't think Penn State quite has the quarterback. And Michigan's got some good young recruits and might finally be getting it together, but I don't think they're quite there yet. So, no, I don't think this is a year where anybody in the Big Ten really challenges Ohio State, even though it feels like there might be an opening with Ohio State playing a first-year quarterback.
Doug Lesmerises, Cleveland.com. Cleveland in the Super Bowl and winning it? Is that what you're saying?
Listen, man, as long as Patrick Mahomes exists on the earth, it is going to be hard to find anybody in the AFC that you believe in to get to the Super Bowl ahead of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But the Browns open on Sunday in Kansas City, and I would not be at all surprised if we see that game again in the AFC Championship game.
Wow.
Browns versus the Chiefs.
Good stuff. Thanks for the time, Doug. Hopefully catch up with you down the road here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Doug Lesmerises, Cleveland.com, writes about the Browns, writes about Ohio State football, and he doesn't think there's really anybody in this league that can, because of the quarterback situation of this league. And we thought Michael Penix was good. We thought Graham Mertz was good. Maybe not.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see who develops there. Again, I think that the bottom half of the league looked great in the opening week. So I think there's not going to be really a game off. But he also mentioned this is probably not Ohio State's best team, and college football, it's hard to go undefeated. So there might be an upset here too, one or two here in the Big Ten, and we'll see what can happen. I'm interested. Like you said, the second best team. Maybe Michigan or Iowa can be that this year. They just don't seem to have that playoff type of
not that playoff
potential.
Vibe. Yeah. Let's get to break. Wingman time. 464-5685. Call the Honda of Lincoln hotline for Rap Wednesday. Something new that Bock is doing. His favorite rap songs. He's going to read the lyrics, rap out the lyrics for you, and you guess the name of the song, and you win chickens, $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. 464-5685. Rap Wednesday with Bock is next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Lay the groundwork for more harvesting capacity when you order a new John Deere combine during Landmark Implement's early order program. Whether you're looking to improve your existing combine or you've been wanting to update to a new model year, now is the time to upgrade. Get the very latest harvesting equipment and technology that fit your operations needs, then get it ordered. You can get your new John Deere combine built just the way you want. Contact your local Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606. or learn more at highelectric.com.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. This weekend, Crystal Palace takes top place Tottenham at 6:30 a.m. Arsenal takes on Norwich City at 9. Man United at Newcastle also at 9. Also, Leicester City and Man City at 9 a.m. Chelsea, Aston Villa at 11:30. And at 2 o'clock, Everton and Burnley, all at McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters for English Premier League soccer in Lincoln at 8th and P.
Beat the heat and save on a new cooling system from John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Combine new system rebates and LES incentives to save up to $2,500. Don't wait until your old system breaks down in the middle of summer. Take advantage of these great offers and beat the heat. Go to jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Where will you go next? The Southeast Community College Fall 2021 Continuing Education schedule of classes is arriving in your mailbox. Take a class in leadership and professional development, like real estate license prep, business courses like accounting and financials, or building a business plan, or 19 pages of personal interest classes like dog grooming, making jewelry, or even charcuterie. The entire schedule is online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has been your go-to in South Lincoln for years, and their second location in downtown Lincoln is now open. Rosie's downtown spot is Lincoln's premier Nebraska party bar with the Sidetrack Band every Friday night of home games and all day for Nebraska home football games. With 34 TVs that are 65 inches or bigger, you'll always have a great view for all the games. Make sure to check out the new Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, now open in downtown Lincoln at 10th and P.
Venue at Home is your answer for locally made, freshly prepared meals delivered to your door every week. Our meals come ready to heat and eat. With sizes for 2 people or 4, Venue at Home is perfect for busy people who want a quick, easy, and delicious meal option to share with your roommates or feed the whole family. Add on from our wide selection of appetizers, sides, desserts, alcohol, and more. Receive a discount on your meals by subscribing to get Venue at Home delivered every week. Visit venueathome.net to order today. That's venueathome.net.
This is Wingman.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. You can be my wingman anytime.
Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings on 93.7 The Ticket.
464-5685. Call right now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline for your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. So you can go get chickens, of course.
Oh, yes.
Yardbirds.
All right, it's a new thing called Rap Wednesday where Nick's not doing it. You're doing it, Bock. Right?
That's right, yeah.
Bock will rap out a song, and you just tell us what the name of the song is, and you get chickens. It's that easy. And Wingman today will be Nick, because I can see the name of the song right here.
Perfect.
Call 464-5685.
That's right.
Are you ready?
Yeah, so I'm just going to read the lyrics up until the chorus?
Yeah, up until the hook.
Okay, and do I do it in the...
Oh, yeah.
Do I just read it or do it in the tune?
You do it in the tune.
You do it in the tune.
Okay.
And we want some jam to this.
We need you to go all out. Okay, Bob?
All right, I can kind of do it pretty well. This is more R&B than rap, just a hint there. But here we go. Well, I tried to tell you so. Yes, I did, but I guess you didn't know. As I said, the story goes, baby, now I got the flow, 'cause I knew it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'm real. You guys know that one?
I don't know that.
You don't know that one.
I know. I recognize it.
Tom knew it because he has the title in front of him.
That's right.
I didn't know it. I didn't know the name of the song unless I would have been looking at the title.
Okay.
Or maybe I just have to hear the song.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Let's.
Did Box sound close?
Yeah, I thought so.
A pretty good rendition.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. A line in.
Levi, what do you think?
Oh, that he did a great job. That is absolutely Return of the Mac.
Great job
of the Mac.
Great job, Levi.
Way to go, Levi. You got chickens, $15 worth of Buffalo Wings and Rings. Way to go.
Awesome.
There he is. I'm going to be the judge based on what it sounds like here.
But I guess you didn't know. As I said, the story goes. Baby, now I got the flow. 'Cause I know it from the start.
I know this song.
Oh, yeah.
That I had to come again and show you that I'm real. You lied to me.
Great. This is not rap. This is R&B.
This is R&B, yeah. I looked up a bunch of rap songs. I'm going to have to bleep. Most of my rap songs have a lot of bleeps in them.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess we can do more bleeps next week.
Yeah.
Yes, I cried.
Yes, I cried.
Return of the Mac. Great song. Great
When did
song.
this
So
come out?
cool.
What year did this come out?
1996, I think. Or 1997 it came out. I think he recorded it in 96. He was actually in is Mark Morrison. I believe he was in jail because he tried to bring a gun onto a plane at the before this was released. which wasn't a good idea.
That's not a good idea to bring a gun really anywhere. I wouldn't think, but
Yeah, when you're famous, you think maybe you might as well just bring the gun along.
Right. A lot of guys, I've never even actually held a gun. Have you ever? I did actually for the first time earlier this year. We shot Blue Rock.
Interesting.
Are you a gun guy?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a gun guy necessarily, but I mean, I hunt. So
do you really?
I do.
Do you clean after you hunt?
Yeah.
That's the worst part. That's the reason I wouldn't hunt.
So, hunting. Oh yeah.
Or fish for that.
Yeah, I don't like doing that either.
You don't like fishing?
I mean, I don't mind fishing. I just will throw them back because I don't eat fish for one, and I don't want to clean them. Yeah.
Have you just never found out that you liked it or something? Or
no, I found out that I didn't like it.
You found out that you didn't like it.
Tried a good fish like a cod or something like that doesn't have a.
I mean, I've had friends that have been able to cook, like put enough pepper on it that it doesn't taste like fish.
Oh,
and then I guess I can eat it, but I think that defeats the point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Have you had
Maybe
salmon?
I'll just have chicken.
Have you had salmon?
Yeah,
not a salmon guy either.
I don't really like any.
I don't like
anything.
salmon either. I like cod. I don't like salmon.
Tilapia was the worst. I tried that. Ugh.
It's not good either.
Tilapia has a little bit of a fishy taste. Cod does not necessarily, especially if you get it at the Long John Silver's because they put so much breading on it, and you mix it with some hush puppies. But also walleye is not fishy. I don't think. I don't think walleye is fishy.
Yeah, it's a whiter fish. I think it's not bad.
It always seems to have the aftertaste of like this guy's been swimming.
Oh yeah. No, this one tastes like Branched Oak Lake.
Yes.
Even like shrimp. You think that about? You don't like any seafood?
Yeah,
either?
I'm just not a big fan of any seafood.
Oh,
interesting.
Okay.
All right.
I know it's healtly for you. That's what the problem with it.
Would you
It
consider
be
yourself
nice.
picky, Bach? Are you a picky guy?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I won't eat what I don't like, so I suppose.
Well, pretty much everybody's like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if put enough ketchup or pepper on something, I'll like it.
So what's up on happy hour today?
Oh, we're gonna start with this, and it talks about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and so I guess take that for what it is. I was made fun of because I brought in peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on hamburger buns.
Ugh.
No, that can't happen.
Why?
Not only that, but these hamburger buns were already frozen so that he could save them from before. What kind of maniac cares so much about the bread waste?
That is very disgusting.
It's not
frozen hamburger bun, peanut butter and jelly. Those are only for you. Do not try to serve those to anybody else.
They were not frozen. They were the buns.
Bach sounds angry.
I'd be offended if you try to get me to eat one of those.
No, I asked about frozen. If buns can be frozen again after you
I don't
already
think you
take them
can.
out. I didn't know if they could be, but it was just leftover hamburger buns, and I didn't want them to go to waste. So I was like,
put a hamburger on them. Don't do peanut butter. and
there's
jelly.
no hamburger. There's no hamburger left. It's the same thing. I would do. I
make do.
I do it with hot dog buns.
Like make peanut butter and jellies with hot dog buns?
Yeah.
You're insane.
If there's leftover buns, why would you just let them go to waste?
No, you can't do that.
No, so we'll dive into that. But then in reality, I had a slow pitch softball game last night, so we'll
that's a big deal. Yeah.
Recap that.
Did you get another homer? You had a homer the last time.
No,
not this time. Well, you can't get a homer on every game.
It was not a good showing by my squad. So we'll recap that, and then obviously get into Nebraska Buffalo and the rest of that.
Happy hour coming up at 2, of course, with Nick and Rico.
The text line does not seem to like your PB&Js, but
no, it's unacceptable. You can't do that. You just can't do it.
I feel like as a college student, that's a good mindset to have and say, I don't want this bread to go to waste.
Put a hamburger in there.
Bread's expensive.
Or even a hot dog.
Hot dogs
would
are pretty
Hot dog
inexpensive.
Yeah.
But if you already eat four hot dogs, there's no reason to continue eating hot dogs.
I used to eat 8 at a time sometimes.
Yeah, you're weird, Tom.
Yeah, I'm definitely been accused of that. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
See you at 2. Coming up, the Big Ten Blitz. We'll rank our teams. In fact, Bock has that assignment. I've done my own rankings if you need them. But Bock will rank his teams and we'll react. Coming up next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies, very comfortable conditions this afternoon. Will top out at around 83. A northwest wind coming in at around 10. Heading into tonight, mostly clear, a low dropping down to 53. The quiet weather continues tomorrow. will be sunny with a high once again near 83. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, looking for that extra confidence when it's time to have fun? Let me tell you about BlueChew.com. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. BlueChew tablets help men combat all forms of ED. BlueChew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA, and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy. And here's a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code TICKET at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code TICKET, to receive your first month free.
Lay the groundwork for more harvesting capacity when you order a new John Deere combine during Landmark Implement's early order program. Whether you're looking to improve your existing combine or you've been wanting to update to a new model year, now is the time to upgrade. Get the very latest harvesting equipment and technology that fit your operations needs, then get it ordered. You can get your new John Deere combine built just the way you want. Contact your local Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. On Friday in the Lincoln football rivalry matchup, Southeast edged out Southwest 28-21 for the win. Jake Applegate would score the only touchdown in the second half for the Knights to secure the win. Lincoln Lutheran won their matchup against Lincoln Christian 23-7 and took home the Spirit Sword. In other Week 2 football, Grand Island won over Lincoln Pius 28-14. Lincoln High shut out Omaha Bryan 42-0. Lincoln Northeast won against Lincoln North Star 26-24. Papillion South beat Lincoln East in a close one 32-28. In volleyball, Class A Papillion La Vista South sits at number 1 in the power rankings with a record of 7-0. Millard West is at 2 with a record of 9-1. Papillion South will have 2 games this week to defend their spot at number 1. They play Lincoln Pius on Tuesday and Elkhorn South on Thursday. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Here's to days spent roaming, and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line and letting time float by. From Shadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical, and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to 100 years of your Nebraska State Parks. Plan your next trip today at nebraskaparks100.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns big or small in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
I always tell people, I just hope they see a guy that loves what he does.
Jake Bockoven.
I didn't get any stupider, I know that. I had never been very smart.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Hour number 3 of Tom and Bock controversy on the text line regarding the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. with hamburger buns, made with hamburger buns. Some people think it's unforgivable. Taylor says that unforgivable can actually be a crime, a war crime.
It
he
could
says.
be.
Somebody calls
Certain
him
countries.
a psychopath. What kind of psychopath puts PB&J on a hamburger bun? A weirdo. And then you have Drumstick, who says it's not weird. I've had to use hamburger buns for sandwiches many times. What's so weird? I think
it's like all crust.
Yeah.
Like they literally make Uncrustables
Is
to
there
take away all the crust that people don't like on the sandwich. He's just getting an all crust bread.
But when you get a big like sub, it's kind of a hamburger bun a little bit.
But you don't put peanut butter and jelly on it.
No, you would never do that. But would you consider like putting ham or turkey on a hamburger bun?
Well, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So that's fine.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly is like it's very important too. Like the amount of peanut butter per jelly, right? I mean, everybody's got their own way of doing it, but there's no way a hamburger bun PBJ can be good.
Yeah, I don't consider that a good thing. And you definitely can't refreeze buns that have been unfrozen.
No,
there's not even a question about that.
Did you ever try? I think people put like bananas on their PB&J. Have you tried that?
No, I don't understand. I think you have to be pregnant to do that.
Oh, that's right. I think you're right.
To put bananas on a sandwich, I guess Elvis did it though. Peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elvis was well known for getting up at 3 a.m. and eating those.
Was he really?
I don't know if it killed him, but something
him.
killed him, and that's just as good as any other. Of course, the drugs might have.
Yeah, drugs
not
usually
been,
catch up to you.
That's probably part of it. Let's see. Tim says, I tried to use holding buns once. What's a holding bun?
Hot dog.
Oh, a hot dog bun. Okay, there you go.
Holding buns is a completely
I've never
different
heard
category.
of a holding bun. Hot dog bun. Yeah, that would be. That's questionable.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't
the
think
hot
you-
dog one. Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
even
think you
worse.
can-
I think.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of gross. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on a hamburger bun.
There's too much bread. It's just the bread to peanut butter to jelly ratio. Unless you put way too much in there.
Yeah. What sort of meat-based sandwich is fine on a hamburger bun? Again, I think turkey, ham are acceptable.
Yeah, anything really with meat-based sandwiches are fine on hamburger buns.
Somebody says Stein says Elvis also liked bacon and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Huh.
They were fried. They were usually fried.
I'm not a big fan. There's a lot of people that just put bacon on anything.
I think
and
there are a
that
lot of
sounds
myths
good.
about Elvis that may not actually be true.
How about a PB&J on a tortilla?
Oh, no.
No.
No, but I would do ham and cheese on a tortilla.
Oh, yeah, like a wrap.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's perfectly acceptable. Let's get to the Blitz.
The Big Ten Blitz. The Big Ten Blitz. The Big Ten Blitz. The Big Ten Blitz.
Okay, we're going to do this rapid fire style, Bock.
Okay.
You go through the top 14. I want you to start at 14, go all the way to 1. Rank your Big Ten teams. Go.
Number 14, I have Nebraska.
No, that's not good.
Oh, wait, yeah, no, that's not good. But I do have them. I think they have quite possibly the worst loss so far.
I have Northwestern last.
Do you have Northwestern last?
Yeah.
I have Northwestern.
Nebraska's
13.
won a game. Northwestern hasn't.
Yeah, but at least Northwestern fared decently against a Division I opponent or
They
a
lost
Power
by 20
5.
They lost by 21 points, Bob.
They lost by 17 points.
Something like that. They lost by a lot of points.
Well, we can bicker about 13th and 14th.
I basically have
I thought-
Nebraska at 13. I have Nebraska at 13.
Northwestern with Hunter Johnson. He's 30 of 43 for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not bad for Hunter Johnson.
Well, we'll find out. Homecoming is within a month.
The battle for NU turns into the battle for last place.
There you go. What do you got?
Well, like I said, 13th I have Northwestern. Number 12, that's where I put Illinois. Of course, they did beat Nebraska, but they lost to Texas San Antonio this last week by 7.
They have Virginia this week. That'll be tough.
Yeah, I wonder if Brandon Peters will be back. That's why I'm hard to hurt Illinois a little
They
bit
got
too
Art
much.
Sikowski. Why do they need Brandon Peters? It's
At
not
least-
Sikowski's fault.
At least Northwestern lost to the number 1 quarterback on their opposing
I
team.
love Sikowski. He's my guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Art Sitkowski, but I think Brandon Peters might have won that job for a reason.
Yeah.
Number 11, I have Purdue.
I have Indiana at 11.
Oh wow, you really dropped Indiana.
I did. I dropped Indiana ways, but I could see Purdue. They're not very good either.
Well, they're not bad though. That's why I'm impressed by the bottom half of the Big Ten. They beat Oregon State 30-21.
Yeah.
They got UConn coming up this week.
I probably should have switched those two because if I were to go head to head, you're right. I don't have Indiana beating Purdue head to head.
You don't have Purdue beating Indiana?
I don't have. Yeah. Those two around. Yeah. I don't have. I don't think Purdue could beat Indiana.
And the old Oaken Bucket challenge.
It was just basically what I saw with 3 turnovers from their quarterback, who was supposed to be the Big Ten Player of the Year. Looked terrible.
Yeah, they looked the worst in week 1.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to drop them from like number 2 or 3 to number 11.
That's a good move. I think you're right. I'd switch those back.
But you could be right. We'll see how that plays out. Number 10, I have Rutgers after the 61-14 win over Temple.
They've got a really good defense. It's kind of what Schiano does, great defense, special teams.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of points. I don't know. 61 points. How many times can they we'll find out how good they are. They've got Syracuse this week.
If you missed it, Greg Schiano also collided with a cameraman in that game.
He did.
That's always fun. Number 9, that's where I have Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Indiana because their defense was still pretty good against Iowa. They held them to 300 yards. It's just Iowa knows how to beat you with defense and big plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's ugly. They just could not get the offense going against Iowa, but I couldn't drop them too far. They might not be very good this year. Number 8, I have Maryland after their 30-24 win over West Virginia.
Talia Tagovailoa. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Tagovailoa. I just think he's the real deal. And he threw for 332 yards, 3 TDs. When he's hot, they're going to be capable of beating anybody. And that was an impressive win over West Virginia. I thought so.
Number 7, it's hard to place Minnesota because are you doing it before or after the injury to their best player? But after their performance against Ohio State, I thought I'd give them a bump this week to number 7.
I've got them at 6. I have Michigan State at 7, but I can see Minnesota. I don't know. I mean, how good is Ohio State? They're probably really good. And is the defense? I just don't know how good their defense is.
Yeah.
And now they've lost their best player.
Yeah. But they might return their best wide receiver, hopefully here in the future. So, and then like I said the other day, their next 8 games are Miami of Ohio, at Colorado, Bowling Green, Purdue, Nebraska, Maryland, at Northwestern, and Illinois. It's a lot of winnable games there for the Golden Golden Gophers. Number 6, I do have Michigan State there after their 38-21 over Northwestern. I think because Mo Ibrahim's out, they probably have the best running back in the country or in the conference now.
Yeah, and Peyton Thorne didn't look bad. You're right. Kenneth Walker, is that his name? Running for 264 and a bunch of touchdowns. I mean, they dominated that game, especially in the fourth quarter. I think Michigan State could be good, but I'm not sure how good Northwestern is.
Yeah, I think probably number 6 is maybe a little bit too high for them, or it might be the high point they reach of the season, but we'll see. I don't know if I believe him that much. I just thought I was very impressed with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Number 5, that's where I have Wisconsin, who is probably better than their 10-16 loss to Penn State, but couldn't finish in the red zone.
Yeah, Graham Mertz, he had 185 throwing, but the 2 picks in the red zone, the final one, they held Penn State to almost nothing, and they dominated time of possession. I think they're probably still better than Penn State, but they lost that game.
Yeah. Number 4, that's where I have Michigan after their 47-14 win over Western Michigan. Unfortunately for them, again, they got Washington this week, but wide receiver Ronnie Bell, their best wide receiver, is out for the season.
Yeah. They look good. And it looks like Cade McNamara is a good quarterback, and then they've got that J.J. McCarthy. They've got 2 pretty good quarterbacks, and I think they can run the football.
Yeah, Cade McNamara had one of my favorite throws of the weekend, basically throwing all the way across the field and getting a completion. I think it was a touchdotion.
Because I don't think Central Michigan is very good or that bad.
Western Michigan,
one of those directional Michigan schools.
Yeah.
But we'll know more this week.
As long as it's not Eastern Michigan, they're usually pretty bad.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Washington, they'll play them this week, but how good is Washington? They're coming off that Montana loss.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, but yeah, I hope Michigan can win that. I think that the Big Ten in their big games this week have a chance to sweep them. Michigan, Iowa, and Ohio State. I think they could win all those ones.
Yeah.
Number 3, anyways, Penn State. That's where I have them after the 16-10 win over Wisconsin. I also don't feel comfortable having Penn State at number 3, but they got the big win this weekend.
Yeah. They didn't do a lot offensively. Their defense played pretty good. I think Sean Clifford's okay. But nothing wows you about Penn State, but they won the game, so you put them up in the top 3.
Yeah. If I had to do like a top, if I like legitimately who I thought were the best teams, I think I'd put Wisconsin and Michigan higher than Penn State. Anyway, number 2, I have Iowa after their 34-6 win over Indiana. And of course, if they beat Iowa State this week, I mean, you're talking about a legit top 7, top 8 team.
Yeah. And I still don't know how good Spencer Petras is. Good. I mean, they've got a good running back. They've got a very good defense. And they won't beat themselves. But what does that mean? I mean, what does that? It means that you're probably the best team in the West.
No matter how high Iowa gets, that's hard to say. No matter how high Iowa gets in the rankings, that's like the turning point of a contender to like, oh yeah, the rest of the teams.
Yeah, exactly. We do that with Northwestern too. I mean, they don't look very good. I know they win.
Yeah.
But that's what Iowa has become, and that's what the Big Ten West has become.
And number 1, of course, the Buckeyes from Ohio State. They look pretty good against Minnesota, especially in the second half, and should be able to beat number 11 Oregon this week.
Yep. In fact, those top 2 schools, Iowa State, of course, Iowa plays Iowa State, and Oregon plays Ohio State. Those are probably the best games in the conference this week, right? That's basically it. Syracuse and Rutgers will be interesting to me.
Are you gonna watch that? Are you gonna watch that one?
I told you I'm a big Greg Schiano fan.
Yeah, and how good is Syracuse from last year?
Don't know.
Yeah, that's hard to judge them. They're not too
one
good
of
of a
those
football
coin
program
flip
usually.
Type games. But there you go. Our Big Ten Blitz on Tom and Bock. Flawless. Should mention the scores that we picked over the weekend.
No, don't do that.
We were terrible.
We're bad.
Well, our picks of density were terrible. You had Indiana. I had Iowa, so I started off well. We both had North Carolina to win that game against Virginia Tech, and they lost. You had Texas, so you were right there. I had Louisiana. I thought they would at least cover. I didn't think they'd win the game, but Texas easily covered there. LSU versus UCLA. We both took LSU. We both took Notre Dame, but didn't get it via the points. We both took Clemson, straight up loss. And you took Miami. You thought Alabama would win the game, but that was a 19-point spread, 19.5. And I took Alabama to cover. So we both had the Nebraska game, and we both had the points.
Yeah, we picked that correctly.
40.5, and that was a lot.
Yeah.
You picked, like, what was it, 58 to
59, 13 or something.
Yeah, so easily there. And I had Nebraska 49-7. So I finished 3-5, and you are 2-6.
You're winning. Do you feel like a winner?
I feel like a new man.
By the way, I looked it up. Syracuse was 1-10 last year, so I don't know if you're going to get too much from that Rutgers game.
They're always,
unless they lose.
I always thought Syracuse should be good, but I always think those New York teams should be better than they usually are. Syracuse has a great population base to recruit from.
The Carrier Dome's awesome. They could do like
the dome's good.
They could do like a high-paced offense.
I kind of think of it similar to Illinois. Like, they should be better than they are.
Yeah.
I think that about Rutgers. I think that about Maryland because of the location that they're in, and they've been recruited at a high level, but they never are good for any length of time. Even in basketball, Syracuse basketball is still very good. But I've just thought because of the population bases, those New York schools should be better. And they never are.
Well, they're more of a basketball culture up there than football.
Yeah, they are. Let's see. We've got volleyball tonight. I'm very excited about Husker volleyball. More than 8,500 tickets have been sold for the Nebraska-Creighton volleyball match. Nebraska third in the country, 5-0. Versus 19th Creighton. Creighton's off to a 6-0 start. It's their best start in program history. The Jays are coming off a upset sweep of defending national champion Kentucky.
They swept them? I didn't know they swept them. My God.
And it's, of course, at the CHI Health Center in Omaha, 6:30 on FS1. You know, watch some Husker volleyball.
National TV. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm concerned. I mean, that's a good Creighton team on the road. You know, it's 8,500, but a lot of those are going to be in red.
Yeah.
But still, fans, by the way, are required to wear masks if you go to the game tonight.
Now, Creighton, do they have a pretty good crowd usually for volleyball as well?
Do not know.
Yeah.
That's a good question to ask. Maybe Tanya could answer. I think we're going to have Tanya Taki on all the time to talk about Husker
She was great
volleyball.
yesterday.
She was great. And I want to have her maybe on in the first segment tomorrow. We're loaded up with guests both Thursday and Friday, but maybe in the first segment, second half of that segment, we can kind of get a Nebraska-Creighton volleyball breakdown, because I don't think Jalen Reyes is going to be available for most of this year just because it's volleyball season.
He's got coaching to do, yeah.
He's got coaching to do, but Tanya does a great job. And I'm hoping to have her back on tomorrow to break down that match, because I'm freaking out. That's going to be a great match.
You know what I thought was really weird, by the way, was when last year, like they have the host sites or whatever, when Omaha in the CHI Center hosted the NCAA, the Final Four, whatever, it still said host site, like hosted by Nebraska. I was like, I don't think so. Like they had the inn, they had the Nebraska inn there. Like, how does Nebraska host at Creighton's home court?
I don't know. I don't know how that happens.
They had to pay somebody to do that, I think. I don't know how that happened.
Are you talking about the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, the Final Four.
Yeah, well,
they can't host at Creighton, a rival school's arena, and say you're hosting.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's
But
in
they
the same
did.
state. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a screwed up tournament. Of course, you remember all the flack for the NCAA tournament on the women's side, not so much on the men's side. But they were stuck in some facilities that were not very good. But you also heard that criticism about volleyball in Omaha, that some of the corked floors were not safe, that they didn't feel comfortable. In some cases, they had to put up curtains for the girls to change, little.
Yeah.
It
Was really weird because they didn't, obviously they had too many teams that they were doing it at two different arenas, I believe. And then like in just like the back of like, it wasn't always on the main court. So it's just kind of like in the hallway.
Right. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Lincoln's not that far away. I know with COVID, they wanted everybody kind of confined a little bit, I guess. But you could have, they did it for the men's tournament in Indianapolis. They were playing all over the state, playing basketball for the NCAA tournament. Why couldn't you drive them, 50 miles down the street, on the interstate and play at PBA?
Yeah.
Or play at the Devaney Center. You had great facilities within 60 miles that you could have done that.
Yeah, there was, along with like the TV, because the TV deal wasn't too good. They weren't getting too many national games on TV. That tournament, people were pretty upset about the volleyball tournament this last year.
Yeah, it wasn't, and the basketball tournament.
And the basketball tournament.
The basketball tournament was even much
more,
worse. Yeah, much worse. Let's get to break and come back with Lance Harvell. By the way, Nebraska going to play an exhibition game October 2nd versus Wichita State. Even before that, they'll play Creighton September 17th. It's a new rule in college baseball where you can do that against other schools. I'm going to talk to him about it. We'll do it next. Lance Harvell coming up.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Beat the heat and save on a new cooling system from John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Combine new system rebates and LES incentives to save up to $2,500. Don't wait until your old system breaks down in the middle of summer. Take advantage of these great offers and beat the heat. Go to jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Wakey, wakey, no breakfast at Casey's.
Wakey, wakey, no breakfast at Casey's. Do-do-do-do-do.
Wakey, wakey, breakfast, Casey's.
Casey's new breakfast, featuring delicious handmade sandwiches like this signature handheld made with our fresh made-from-scratch dough. Buy any hot breakfast item and get a coffee for just $1. Casey's, here for good.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies, very comfortable conditions this afternoon. Will top out at around 83. A northwest wind coming in at around 10. Heading into tonight, mostly clear, a low dropping down to 53. The quiet weather continues tomorrow. Will be sunny with a high once again near 83. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now,
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Century Electric is now hiring for experienced licensed electricians. This position will serve around the Lincoln area on both commercial and residential jobs. Century Electric is well established with 40 years in operation. It offers a substantial hiring bonus as well as tons of benefits. For more information or to apply, go online to centuryelectric.com and click the careers tab or call them at 402-467-5550. Come work for a great company today with Century Electric, whose commitment is always to their customers.
Here's to days spent roaming and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line and letting time float by. From Shadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to 100 years of your Nebraska state parks. Plan your next trip today at nebraskaparks100.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
We take our college football Saturdays so seriously at 93.7 The Ticket that one post-game show simply isn't enough. Join Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and DP for The Ticket postgame. 90 minutes following each Nebraska game at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. They'll break down the game from their vantage point and bring in special guests as well, with giveaways to listeners who drop by. It's The Ticket postgame with Jay Foreman and DP at Tanner's Bar and Grill. Sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning and Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance. You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Let's go.
Don't care. We're going to play baseball. That's it.
2-2 to Hallmark. Swings and hits one in the air. Deep left center field. Going back is Christian Franklin. And this one off the batter's eye and gone for a home run. Great stop at second base. The toss. Out at second. Cam Chick has done it with the bat. Here he does it with the glove.
Welcome in, Lance Harvell, Nebraska assistant baseball coach. Hey, Lance, how are you?
Good afternoon, guys. How are we doing?
Good. Feeling like $100. How you feeling this week? How you doing?
Little Ty Webb.
That's right.
There. I love it.
That's right. Little Ty.
It's not lost on me.
All right, I appreciate
I'm great,
it.
man. We got our first scrimmage of the fall here this afternoon. So energy is high, and so it's going to be. We got a great day to do it, man. Weather outside's awesome. So no problems on my end.
Now, I want to ask you about this because it's college baseball just allowed it within the last couple of years. You got a scrimmage coming up September 17th. Against Creighton, and then one against Wichita State October 2nd. That has to give you a much better feel as to what kind of team you have, right? Are you there?
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulty. You guys are kind of breaking up. I'm going to call back in.
All right, call back in.
Get a little filler. Get a little filler going. And I'll call back.
That's right. We'll sing a tune or something, and Lance can call back. But it is a new rule within college baseball that now you can scrimmage teams. They've been doing it in basketball for a while. Like Nebraska will have a closed door scrimmage with Iowa State or Wichita State. I think they did. And I think it gives you a much more competitive view of, an idea of what your team will be competitively. I think it could really help teams like Nebraska going forward, but they're going to do that. I also wanted to talk to Lance about this. There's a stat correction we talked about this yesterday. James Greenhagen is his name. He now has the NCAA record for tackles in a game. They went back and they looked at it and found that a tackle that was made by a Millard North product is actually was James Conway. And I was trying to think of the guy's name from Millard North. They had it here.
They took a tackle away from him?
Yeah. Well, his name is James Conway. And he went to Omaha Millard West, actually. And there was a tackle made by Conway. And Conway said, no, coach, that wasn't me. That was Greenhagen. And so that's the reason he got the NCAA record. Hey, Lance, I was going to bring you in because this probably happens in baseball a lot where a stat correction could give a guy a no-hitter or a perfect game or whatever. And we love our stats in baseball. How many times have you had to say to a guy, hey, what is there a stat correct? Can you go back and do that in baseball? Have you seen that in baseball?
Yeah, that actually happens all the time. Maybe the majority of the time it's something where they gave somebody a hit, or gave somebody an error when it should have been a hit, or vice versa, something like that. That actually happens more than you realize. And there's definitely some places, some coaches or some programs that try to protect their stats. They like to claim, their claim to fame is we've got the lowest ERA in the country or the highest fielding percentage, whatever. And it's funny how they probably give up more hits than they probably actually did to try to, they'll give it a hit instead of an error to try to protect that fielding percentage, or maybe give somebody an error instead of a hit to try to protect the ERA. So that kind of stuff happens. Sometimes you do it for individual players. It's like, hey, they called you talk to your SID or whoever's doing the stats for the game afterwards, and just kind of say, hey, they gave the shortstop an error on this ball, but that needs to be changed to a hit, something like that. It's not all the time every game, but there is stuff like that happens. If you have a kind of just earmark it during the course of a game, if you feel like something was ruled incorrectly and it can get fixed afterwards. You can have
that's interesting
conversation after, but.
That's interesting because a lot of these SIDs, of course, they're working for a school, and if the coach comes up and say, "No, that was really that was an error," but that probably happens all the time.
It does, and some of them, if you have a good SID and they not that they're not going to make mistakes, but if they're convicted about how it was ruled and all that, they're kind of worth their salt. Sometimes they'll kind of fight you on it a little bit too, and you're like, okay, fair enough, whatever. It'll all work itself out. But that happens.
Yeah. Interesting. Lance Harbell, Nebraska assistant baseball coach, is our guest. The first question I asked you, and you couldn't hear me before, but you're allowed to scrimmage teams from other conferences now, and you have Creighton September 17th. You weren't allowed to play them last year. And you have Wichita State October 2nd. How much more do you think you'll learn about your team by having these scrimmages against other real live teams?
Yeah, a lot. And that the game against Creighton is actually was changed. We were going to try to go to Omaha and play them at TD Ameritrade, but that didn't work out. So we're actually going to play them here at home on the 17th. So we get to have 2 home games here this fall, and it's good, because you learn a lot. It's just different than going out and like on a practice day or inter squad. You get to see somebody in a different uniform on a different team and go compete. There's a little bit different feel to it. So you get some of the young guys or the guys that haven't been here before. You get kind of a game day simulation with them, and there's a lot the actual game that kind of helps with that, like speed of the game for the young guys and stuff like that. But a lot of times too, it just, I mean, because we treat it like an actual game day. So we have, get to the ballpark at this time. We're going to have pregame meal at this time. Uniforms, anthem. I mean, you get to run through the whole kind of dress rehearsal of a game day. So then when the spring rolls around, you've done it before. And I'm glad that the NCAA, a few years ago changed it so that we're able to do it, because it does. It's a huge benefit from that. The only thing I wish we would have been able to play in Omaha, so at least we would have had one home game and one road game this fall to kind of get also kind of simulate. Okay, we're going to get on a bus, we're going to head this way, and all that. So just as they've already done it before, by the time the spring rolls around, it kind of helps. They know the routine. They know that it just kind of helps the comfort level and all that. So.
Yeah, that's very valuable to get that pregame routine, and I'm interested in those type of scrimmages. Do you think that you're going to use run it like a live game as far as like the pitching rotation goes, or do you think you're going to try to get more pitchers in there, just try to get more reps for everybody, or do you really treat it treat it like a 9-inning real game?
No, we'll try to get a lot of different guys some action in that game. I think we'll probably, depending on pitching on both sides, we'll probably end up playing more than 9 innings. So anybody that comes, they're going to get their money's worth if they show up, because they'll get some free baseball in there if we play more than 9.
Yeah.
But no, you got to use it, kind of using your time wisely there and get get some of these young guys and new guys, or anybody, even returners that are maybe in a new role, something like that, kind of getting them back in the grease a little bit and get them some game time and some, kind of real college experience, against, seeing if some of these freshman pitchers can get college hitters out. So, we're going to treat it like an actual game day, just on, as far as everything else, but except probably the pitching. We'll try to get as many. What we'll probably do is split the pitching staff, and half the guys will throw on that day, and then the other half will pitch against Wichita State, so that making sure everybody gets in and gets some action.
Lance Arvell is our guest. Nebraska going to play Creighton on September 17th, 5:00 at home. That's free to the public. So is the Wichita State game, October 2nd at noon. Just watching this series, and you haven't been here as long as some other coaches, but obviously there's some not bad blood, but it's a rivalry. Nebraska Creighton. Nebraska really likes to beat Creighton, and Creighton really likes to beat Nebraska. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and I've heard some. There's been some talk of that, and I know. We run into the Creighton coaches all the time, on the recruiting trail, and we're usually at a lot of the same events and the same games and things like that. And, you get to know those guys doing that type thing. And so, it makes it kind of even better, because now you get, as if you kind of have a little relationship or a friendship there, now you can really kind of get into some of the banter and the back and forth. And I'm not going to name names, but I know, one of the Creighton coaches that he was disappointed that we played conference only games last year, because he told us he wanted a piece of the Huskers. He wanted to see if we were the real deal last year, and so we may have a little something for him. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, that stuff it's great, right? I mean, it helps fuel everything, whether it's a fall scrimmage or when we square off with them in the spring. But now, I really encourage people to come out, because it's going to be fun, and if we can pack the stands and get some people in here and make it as realistic to an actual game day, it's going to be awesome. And what else would you have to do on a cool fall evening and fall morning, and those 2 dates, then come watch some Husker baseball.
No, nothing. You wouldn't have anything going on unless you're a communist or something. I mean, come on.
Go have dinner, go date night, down at the Haymarket or something, and then just walk over the bridge and come on over.
That's absolutely correct. Again, September 17th versus Creighton. and October 2nd versus Wichita State. And then the Red-White series is October 11th through the 13th. What are you expecting to learn? I mean, we get Kyle Perry back. We already did last year. You get Kobe Gomes back. I guess the big question marks are in the outfield, right?
Yeah. And there's, again, there's kind of, you get the unproven, because we didn't get to see him last year a little bit, but we've got a talented group of guys out there. Yesterday was our first day of fall practice, where we really got to be out there for an extended period of time and see the guys all over the field, kind of moving around, and you kind of get a real live look at it. And I mean, there might be some inexperience out there, but there's definitely talent. So that's where we come in. We got to get these guys caught up and get them to the point where they're not only confident, but they feel good about our system and what we're doing, and that's just going to allow them to go out there and free them up to go play, and be the guys that got them here.
Yeah. And you've got a Hall of Famer back in the program, of course, Rob Childress, the former head coach, now director of player development. What's it been like being around Rob all the time?
It's been awesome. And it's been kind of a cool thing for me, because the last time I was really with him on a day-to-day basis was back when I was just, a young pup, like starting out. I had just gotten done playing, and I was starting out as a grad assistant under him, and just, the greenhorn on the coaching staff, and not knowing anything about anything, and, wondering figuring out how this whole coaching thing works and all that. Oh. And now, more years later than I care to admit, having him here in the same office again and working day to day with him, it's awesome. It's a little bit different experience than the last time, and so it's been great. I mean, he showed up and just jumped right in, and it was like, old hat. It's almost like we'd all been working together for the last decade or something.
Yeah, that's awesome. By the way, read Tom Chattel's column on Trev Alberts, and one of the guys that he points out is Will Bolt and this coaching staff as a model. Do you like that? Do you like being in the eye of the athletic director there?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that. I mean, our goal is to stay that way, right? I mean, if that means we're doing something right. So anytime somebody's giving you any kind of compliments or praise or trying to model themselves after you, that's got to mean you're doing something right. So that's always very flattering. And but I've got a daily reminder on my phone that pops up like first thing every morning. Not that I need any reminders to stay humble, because I just look in the mirror and remind of that every day. But it says that silver and gold are the purity of silver and gold are tested by fire, and the same goes for us. Yeah. And praise. We're tested by praise, and so you can't forget who you are and stay humble. So. Yeah. But yeah, no, as long as we're getting those kind of comments and things like that means we're doing something right. So we'll just keep on plugging away at what we're doing.
Well, you guys get us through the winter, so no pressure there, Lance. But look forward to talk to you again next week. You're the best, man. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Glad we got the wires uncrossed and all figured out.
There you go. We're good to go. Thanks, Lance. Lance Harvell, Nebraska assistant baseball coach. Let's get to break, finish out, eat the leftovers to end the show next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
If you decide to buy new flooring, you want it installed right away. Hi, Steve Carper from O Street Carpet. With our huge in-stock supply of carpet, tile, and vinyl, wood, and laminate flooring. You buy today and we'll install it right away. While other stores don't deliver that kind of service, we do. In fact, if you'd have purchased your flooring last week at O Street, you'd be enjoying it today.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street, and OStreetCarpet.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
Join the team and call the shots. Now calling for adult and youth team sports officials for Lincoln Parks and Recreation. Officials must be at least 16 years old for youth sports and 18 years old for adult sports. Officials are paid $20 a game and are expected to be physically able to run the field or court with players for an entire game of approximately 55 minutes, work well with coaches, and have the ability to accept criticism and work well under pressure. If you'd like to be a team sports official, call 402-441-7982 to learn more or go to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
Want to get a hot and perfect body fast? It's so easy. All you have to do is eat lots of bananas, but peels only, and always be sweating, but never look sweaty. That's disgusting.
Don't follow extreme routines. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness. Now through September 16th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. And get back to a real routine with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join today for $1 down, $10 a month, and cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends September 16th. See Club for details.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and joining me is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I am, Charlie.
Andy, when people drive by your lot, they don't see as many new Hondas as normal, but I'm told you have hundreds on the way.
We sure do, Charlie. We have more than 500 to choose from that are either here or on the way. Most of them are inbound.
Do you still have that great financing, Andy?
We do, as low as 0% APR financing on select new Honda.
What about used cars and trucks?
Well, right now we have more than 120 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, and just about any make or model. And we have over 50 certified pre-owned Hondas to choose from.
Andy, that is really great news for your customers. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Wakey, wakey, new breakfast at Casey's.
Wakey, wakeys, do-do-do-do-do.
Wakey, wakey, breakfast, Casey's.
Casey's new breakfast, featuring delicious handmade sandwiches like this signature handheld made with our fresh made-from-scratch dough. Buy any hot breakfast item and get a coffee for just $1. Casey's, here for good.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as the top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
When the clock strikes zero after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party postgame show on 93.7 The Ticket. Each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the team and coaches too. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, sponsored by Southeast Community College and M Street Drive-In. Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final moments of Tom and Bock. Breaking news, new basketball schedule out for Nebraska basketball and the Big Ten at large. For the second time in 3 seasons, Nebraska men will open up conference play at Indiana. That's sexy.
Big Ten hates us. No, we're fine.
Hey, 20 games in all, 14 games against teams that made the NCAA tournament last year. 10 of the Huskers' first 12 are on that tilt. Let's see. We got Indiana, and then you got Michigan December 7th, Ohio State at home. So those 2 games at home, and then at Michigan State, at Rutgers, at Illinois, Purdue, Indiana at home, at Ohio State, Wisconsin. What sticks out to you on this schedule?
Well, it's interesting. Again, you're doing some Big Ten games early and then a mix of like non-conference games. So they start their first Big Ten game is 3 days after the Big Ten ACC Challenge. You mentioned at Indiana. Then that'll be a Saturday. Then December 7th, they play Michigan. And then they go back December 11th to do that holiday hoopsgiving thing with Auburn. December 19th, they'll play Kansas State, then Kennesaw State December 22nd. And then Big Ten season kicks in for real this time when you don't go back to non-conference games January 2nd. So I kind of like how they do that. Give you a few conference games early in December and then revisit conference play back in January. But at least you get a taste of it early.
Of course, Nebraska has Trey McGowan's returning, Lat Mayon, Derek Walker, but a lot of new pieces this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about Bryce McGowan's, who might have to carry things. I'm very interested to see Alonzo Verge, the transfer from Arizona State, and the impact he makes. He gives him some college experience, a guy that's a little bit older and maybe more of a true point guard than I thought he was going to be. But a lot of new faces. That's the big concern, is how many of these guys can they, gain some chemistry with right away.
Yeah, it'll be fun, and I think that this is a team. Again, you're going to see it. People around here are going to be excited about them, but the Big Ten's going to be pretty good again. So they might not get picked too highly. Looking over the schedule one more time, one more thing to point out: 3 of the last 4 games in conference player are on the road, so it's going to be kind of tough to close out that one there. But I'm excited because there's enough guys that I think they're going to get a solid 7 or 8, and there might be a few guys that we expect to play coming into the season that won't get too many minutes just because of how many contributors there will be. So I think there's a lot of lineup combinations they can work on and different strengths that they can figure out. It's going to be a fun year for college basketball here in Lincoln. It's been a while since you can say that, but I think maybe a tournament team.
I can't wait. I can't figure out what the starting lineup will be. I mean, you've got a lot of new faces. I mean, I think Eduardo Andre is a guy that could start, but he probably won't. Wilhelm Bradenbach is a guy that could start. They've got a lot of size. Keon Edwards is very intriguing to me. You've got Trevor Lakes, who probably won't play a lot, but you never know. He's been in college basketball for a long period of time, and he is a good shooter. Lat Mayon is going to be in the mix. You got Trey McGowan's. You got Bryce McGowan's. It's going to be interesting. Derek Walker, obviously, Kobe Webster, and CJ Wilcher, a really good shooter. So they've got tons of options. They could go 10 deep. Picking a starting 5 will not be easy.
No, it won't. That'll be part of the battle. That'll be part of the battle to watch play out. It'll be fun to see how long, by conference play, hopefully they've got that thing figured out, but it might keep evolving as the year keeps going.
Let's eat the leftovers. The Baltimore Ravens has signed 3-time Pro Bowler Le'Veon Bell to their practice squad. The Ravens have ready to host. They have already lost, I should say, J.K. Dobbins and Justice Hill to injuries at running back. Their starter is going to be Gus Edwards. You'd think it'd be Le'Veon Bell over Gus Edwards, but Le'Veon Bell only has had 328 yards last year. He was with the Jets and he was with the Chiefs. Do you see much left in the tank for Le'Veon Bell?
Not really. He hasn't averaged more than 4 yards per carry since 2016. It's been a while. Of course, he sat out 2018. Came back and played with the Jets and Kansas City last year down the stretch, but didn't look. I mean, with running backs, we always know they got a short shelf life. I think he's pretty much toward the end of it if he's trying to hang on to practice squads. Kind of surprised to see him signed to a practice squad. A lot of guys with a name that big might just bow out gracefully, but he's still giving it a shot. So, good for him.
I thought when the Chiefs signed him last year, that's a good get. And it was just the Jets who were using him incorrectly. But maybe it's Le'Veon and not these other teams. The Tennessee Titans are waiving Chris Jones, according to a report by the NFL Network. Jones was undrafted out of Nebraska in 2018 and started his career with the Lions. He has played since for the Cardinals and the Vikings. How much does he have left in the tank?
He's
Somebody
probably
might sign him.
Yeah, somebody might sign him. He's always kind of been a fringe on the rosters or not. Which is, it's a great thing for any player to make it there. I think he gets lost when you think about really good defensive backs over the last several years. He was at one time. Remember early in one season, they thought maybe get first, second round pick. He didn't obviously live up to that, but should have been probably drafted. Did you say he was undrafted?
Yeah, he went undrafted.
That's hard to even remember that.
He wasn't a burner.
No.
Was the knock on it, but he was long and I thought talented.
Yeah, and he's carved out a little bit of an NFL career. I'd expect him to get another look.
Yeah, he might. He might be. It's always surprising, these guys that show up on practice squads, which we've mentioned. They can make a decent living doing that. 19-year-old Lele Fernandez became the youngest U.S. Open semifinalist since Maria Sharapova did it in 2005. She's 19. Maria was 18. It's impressive when of course, tennis kind of caters to that. These youngins doing really well. I think Chris Everett Lloyd was like 15 when she hit the circuit, or 16 or something like that. You don't see that as much anymore.
Yeah. Obviously, great things at a young age. Hard to expect her to be the next Maria Sharapova, though.
Now, do you watch much of the tennis, U.S. Open or Wimbledon?
No, I'm not a big tennis guy.
I like it occasionally, but there's no great Americans anymore.
Yeah.
And now Serena's almost done. So we're out. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow at the happy hour. Coming up next. See you later. Bye-bye.
No doubt about it, a water softener saves you money. Don't have one? Call the plumbers at Bryant. Just one call and no arm-twisting contracts. For a free estimate, call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com.